Defining Duke is brought to you by Policy Genius. If someone relies on your financial support, whether it's a child, aging parent, or even a business partner, you need some life insurance. Now, heaven forbid something happens to you, you and your loved ones would be taken care of with a financial cushion for rent or mortgage payments. And having that life insurance through your job sometimes may not be enough. And that's why I like Policy Genius. Policy Genius is your one-stop shop to find the insurance you need at the right price. Click the link in the description or head to policygenius.com/Duke and answer a few questions. In minutes, you can compare personalized quotes from top companies to find your lowest price. You could save 50% or more on life insurance by comparing quotes with Policy Genius. So head to policygenius.com/Duke to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you can save. Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today, and welcome to episode 68 of Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast. Today, I'm joined by PAX Menace himself, Lord Cognito. How are you, Cog?
Ooh, I'm doing good. Considering all the craziness going on with me. I'm doing the best as I possibly can. PAX approaches. I get to see someone in the flesh soon. So that'll be cool.
Yes.
Duke reunite. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
I ain't going to talk about that fantastic shirt you got on. You know, we ain't gonna,
What shirt?
We, you know, just that thing that people get excited about that you shouldn't be excited about. But I'm before as a bag today. I'm feeling very racy. You know what I mean? So I'm ready, man. Busy week. But I am excited for what's about to come. We got a good show, good topics, and yeah, man, I get to see my man in a few days. So that's what's
Hell yeah. I'm excited for that, man.
How you been?
Can't wait to see you. I'm doing well. Much like you, it's been a flurry this past week, getting ready for PAX, and in my case, getting a lot of content in order while I'm away, making sure everything's taken care of on both channels. We're recording this on a Tuesday. Normally we record on Wednesdays, but we're both leaving for PAX East on Wednesday. So if anyone who's listening is going to PAX East, you'll hear this. If you're a free listener, you'll hear this by the time we're peacing out. But if you're a patron and you're going there, maybe you'll see us. Maybe you won't. Maybe I'll just blend in. I don't know. But it's going to be a good time. I'm really excited just to get back into that game convention feel because it's been so long. I don't remember what it feels like. Last one I went to was PAX East 2020 when everything shut down like a couple weeks later.
Oh, you was there too? Oh,
yeah.
We've been in the same conventions. How crazy is that?
Dustin was there too. Dustin was at that one as well. Yeah.
Oh,
I passed Dustin. I didn't say anything to him because I wasn't sure if it was him. Then we talked about it on ham radio and it was him. So kind of funny.
That's what's up. It's going to be cool, man. And to the people out there, a lot of people say, hey, if the Dukes are there, can I get a picture? Absolutely. Provided we're not in the middle of an interview, be respectful.
Yes, that's
Let's
true.
do our thing, you know, and then but we got you. Otherwise.
Curious if anyone will ever recognize me because a lot of times I wear hats, and if I don't got you can't see my hair. My hair is like the defining quality. You don't see that, it's over.
So that's your incognito.
Yeah,
that's your
my
incognito.
I've done that before. Like not because I'm like not because I get annoyed by anyone. Just I remember I was like hungover as shit one PAX East. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna throw on the hat and the glasses. I'm just gonna not today.
I'll feel you. Okay, I see. I gotta see that. I gotta see that the whole ensemble.
My incognito.
Yeah, I've never seen that. Seen that. That's funny.
No, I don't need it anymore. I don't drink anymore, so
no doubt.
That's fine.
No doubt.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast. For those who are interested in supporting us, getting early ad-free access to the show, you can join patreon.com/laststandmedia, like 12,000 plus of you already have. If you're not interested in that, you can listen to us over on free feeds like Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. We have the video version over on the Last Stand Media YouTube channel. Whatever works best for you. We're just happy you're here joining us in our growing show, our young show here. Also, if you're a patron, you get access to Defining Duke Ultimate. Cog, you took this one over, man. Mailbag.
Yeah, man. I like those mailbags, man. It was fun. They're so much fun. You know, they asked so many good questions. I had some tough ones. Had to rank like Gears franchise.
Oh,
talked about some old school, kind of like inspirations and fun moments, and then some controversy to it. It was like a little bit of everything. People were really asking very, very questions. I try to put as much as I could in. So salute to everybody who wrote in. I had a lot of fun with that one as well. So salute to the Last Stand Media Committee.
Absolutely.
Always fun. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They listen closer than you'd imagine, because you'll see people who never write in. You'll do your mailbag and you'll see a very poignant question. You'll go, oh, well, look at that one there.
You got to be like, you got to add that. That is like someone who's really paying attention to a lot of things we say, or your stances on things. And it's just really cool when you sometimes challenge or asked about it.
Yeah. I love being challenged.
Yeah, let's go.
So before we get into the patron write-ins, we just got a couple of news bites. But before any news bites, we're talking boneless bites. Buffalo Wild Wings put out a tweet April 12th, 2022, 11:33 p.m. Eastern time. They said, people hate boneless wings for attention. And I just thought something was in the ether with this one. I've been harassed constantly. And now I see that one of our leaders in the Wing Society has spoken out and said that those of you who are coming for me for my fork ways, you're just looking for attention. I gave it to them, right? And it made too much sense. So I just wanted to let everyone know you've been put on watch by Buffalo Wild Wings, our leaders in this genre. So thank you. Thank you for harassing me.
Bro, when I saw this tweet, I immediately had to tag you. I was like, the timing. Yes. The timing of everything that has led from Duke's prior to that moment. And I'm like, I can't believe it. I had
Let's
to
just say that I saw another write-in. It's here in this show. And I feel like we're going to have a new era of food debates here. So I'm excited to get into it later in the show. Let's talk about games for a little bit first, though. Mm-hmm. Sonic Origins. This was rated in South Korea. They announced this last year. They also had some key art leak on the PlayStation Store, and it looks like it is still set for a 2022 release, which also Sonic Frontiers is supposed to be launching this year. So I was a bit surprised by this, but just want to let everyone know our Blue Blur is still en route this year.
Yeah, man. Movies outside too, man.
Oh, yeah.
Keep the train going.
I'm seeing that at PAX. I'm excited. Me and my friends are getting together.
Nice. Yeah. I got to see it. I might try to see it myself too. That's
it looks like it's going to be a good time. So I'm excited about it.
Nice.
Next one. This one's really sad. Babylon's Fall drops below 10 concurrent players on PC this past week. As of today, I checked just to see what the stats were today. There was a 111 player peak in 24 hours, and the all-time peak for Steam is still 1,166. Obviously not representative of the entire player base across all consoles, as well as PC. But actually, I think this is only on PlayStation, but you get my point. Not representative of the console fan base, but not looking good if you got 111 players today, and it fell below 10 sometime last week. Brutal, man.
Yikes. Big yikes.
Next up, just an update on some news we talked about in the past, that Microsoft and O'Donnell/Salvatore Inc. are pleased to reveal that they have amicably solved their differences after they had sued Microsoft for unpaid royalties in regards to the Halo franchise. So I'm glad that ended the way it did. Nice, quietly, peacefully. I think Microsoft knew this is the right play.
Yeah, this is the right play, and Marty's been through a lot, so salute to him. And I love Michael Salvatore. That he's the one that's he's the understudy. He's currently working on a lot of Destiny. Him and Sky Lewin, we had the pleasure to interview on The Last Word. Salvatore's a beast, and I ain't going front. I make an argument right now. Salvatore might be the guy, but that's just me. Let me tell you, man, he puts it down on music. I get mad that Destiny doesn't get nominated I know I'm biased, but I feel like Destiny should get nominated every year, but I think it's because their expansion and they don't consider it.
I feel you.
Salute to them. This is good news. I love this.
I agree. What's not good news is what's happening with Oddworld Inhabitants, where Lauren Lannon, my guy Lauren, said that the 4 million downloads for Oddworld Soulstorm were devastating because it was available as a free game for PS Plus. It was supposed to be there at the launch for PlayStation 5. It got delayed, and then that was to get the game out in time. PlayStation gave them a little bit of change to make that happen. And then they put it as a PS Plus game later into the console's life cycle, where more consoles were out there. People had their hands on them. So 4 million people redeemed Oddworld Soulstorm, which they called devastating for their sales. How do you feel about this one? Because when I saw this, and by the way, I should disclose, like, I'm in this game. I did some voice work.
I know, this is a close situation for you.
Yeah, I can talk about it a little bit more.
Let's go.
Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts because I saw a lot of people kind of being cold about this because they were just like, oh, he's still, because they were pretty much calling him stupid. Like, what do you expect when it's a free game? It's not like Game Pass where sometimes deals are struck on a pay per download scale. But how do you feel about the situation Soulstorm was in where they took the bag to get the job done, made it a free game, and because it was free, they were unable to really get any extra revenue for sales?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. The way I look at it when I first heard the news is shout out to my boy Incepted Ghost. He's the one that had the interview, Lauren, and
Mhm.
I wanted to get the full context. And what I noticed was that, at least initially, was that I don't know how PlayStation Plus deals are structured because I know I got a bit of an idea what Game Pass is, but
Mhm.
from my understanding, the way it was structured, he took the bag obviously to get the game out the door, get it across the finish line.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then you have the download aspect, and then you hear the comment. So the vibe I got was I was just uncertain about the royalty aspect, and I wanted to know, like, was that included? Because if that language is not there, or it's either one or two things. I don't know the contract. It's one or two things. One, it's like, yo, this is the deal,
Mhm.
right? Take it or leave it. And if your game needs to get across the finish line, then I can understand the mindset, yo, I got to get it across. Then it ends up getting the 4 million downloads or whatever because of exposure. Now I can see you feeling the way. But then there's the other aspect, which again, I don't know. You may know more than me because you're closer to the situation, is that sometimes it's what you negotiate for. If he had the ability or they had the ability to negotiate it, then I'm like, damn, should have negotiated that
Mm.
on the back end. But again, I don't know how PlayStation Plus deals are structured. I don't. But I will say this, like, the only narrative that is bothering me is this narrative that because of this means, see, this is the definitive reason why subscriptions are bad. And to me, we have so many other examples of success and people who have been in the Game Pass, who have been in these type of deals, and they've done well. So until I know the full details of his deals and what was be able
Mhm.
to be negotiated or not, I can't say for sure that this is the shining example. But I'm curious of you because you're very close to this situation. You're in the game, So I'm dying. I've been wanting to have this conversation, with you on this part.
Yeah, I knew money was tight for them just because when I was negotiating, like just doing my voice role for the game, originally they, I'll just say in all transparency, they wanted to pay me an exposure, which you just never do. A lot of companies will try to do that.
Wow.
The whole voice work situation for a lot of games is fucked. This isn't exclusive to them, but yeah, they wanted to pay an exposure. I was like, look, like I get it. Like you guys don't probably got a lot of cash. I said I need a little something though. Like I'm spending time doing this, and
Man,
also yeah, I'm also putting myself in the game, man. Like I'm putting myself out there. And I thought at one point in time that maybe that would be a route I go. At some point, maybe it will be, but right now I'm not as interested in it. I have other things like I want to make a game instead.
exactly.
But it's still something like you have to market yourself, treat yourself with some respect. So I could tell right then and there, like, yeah, things are pretty tight here. And that's just like an inside look at it. But like otherwise, um, when a game like this is delayed constantly and you see it end up taking the PS Plus bag and they're like, yeah, we're going to be like free immediately, that's going to hurt them. The fact that they sold thousands of copies is a little surprising given the situation, right? That you could just download it for free. But
Yeah.
it's one of those, I guess, what do you expect kind of moments. But I did feel some people are being rude to Lorne and his response. And I know I get it. I'm close to the situation, if you will. It's not like I talk to the team frequently at all. But I feel like a lot of people were being disingenuous almost intentionally,
Mm,
just because, like, yes, it's a situation that the way the game was managed put themselves in that spot. But I don't think that means we just lack sympathy because, like, it happened in a way that was you could foresee. Like, okay, we need to take this money to get it to the finish line, and we're practically going to give the game away. It's like that's what they had to do to get the game out. That's the goal of every game creator: just get it out there. And from there, it's like, let's see what we can do to make this thing profitable. And they were put in a position where it wasn't going to be. I just thought it was a really interesting topic because a lot of people tried to weaponize this as like, oh, look, Game Pass versus PS Plus. I'm like, no, I think you take a deeper look. It's much more than that. It's just a
yes.
situation of kind of poor game management, honestly.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I think you nailed it. I think it's context. And the game management and the tough decisions developers got to make to get the game out of the door. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist, right? So you got that, and then you have the exposure aspect of how many more people got access to the game that may not have gotten access to the game if it wasn't in a service like PS Plus. I'm very curious, and maybe one day, with Colin or, some people who are more tied in to the PlayStation eco, I'm very curious on the structure of the deals. Like, PlayStation keeps a lot of that stuff close to vest, and I was just, me, we know the Dukes like to know how the sandwich and sausage is made. Like, I love that stuff. When we had, our boy on from Nobody Saves the World, Graham, I thought that was excellent, to the end, we had him on RP, Stephen Danton, like that stuff was excellent. So I'm dying to know that stuff so we get even more context.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully we will. In the meantime, No More Heroes 3 coming to Xbox and PlayStation. Thought this was kind of surprising. Nintendo Switch exclusive. The first two still on Nintendo Switch only, but No More Heroes 3 coming to Xbox and PlayStation. So check that out.
If you have a nice get. That's a nice get. I was shocked by that. I thought those would never grace the other two. Yeah.
No, definitely not. So good for them. That's great that they're expanding to other platforms and have the budget to actually port these things.
Astral Train, get over there.
Yeah, right. Yes, thank you. Yep. Yeah. Bring over Triangle Strat while you're at it. That game's great.
Yes, please.
Or as I like to call it, Tri-Strat. Anyway, Dan XL writes in, hey boys, so yesterday I decided to try on my fiance's Crocs for the first time. I've always dunked on Crocs primarily because of how ugly they are, but I can dunk on them no longer. Crocs might be some of the most comfortable footwear I've ever used, and that's not hyperbole. I've decided to go buy myself a black pair, and I plan on using them whenever I feel like dressing down. I'm writing in because I know Crocs have a notorious reputation on this show, but I'm asking for the Dukes to please stand down. Yes, they remain hideous, but their comfort is unparalleled, and so they deserve a pass. I hope you guys reconsider your position and at least be open to trying them on. Cheers, and have a great week. The timing here couldn't be better, Cog. My dad just bought a new pair of Crocs just this past week. I remember I was walking down the landing. I was going to walk Revan. I'm like, I literally said, who the fuck's Crocs are these? I was like, are you kidding me? I was insulted. I was insulted. I was like, these have not been in my house for a while. Like, what are these? I'm like, whose are these? My dad's like, oh, they're mine. I thought, much like Dan with his fiance, opportunity struck. I'm like, okay, I'm just walking the dog. It's nighttime. No one's going to see me here. I was like, let me slide these on.
You slid the Crocs on.
I was like, let me slide on these dog walkers, as I like to call them. And let me see if it's really this fine footwear that you can even eat, as people have pitched it to us on the show.
You do this, right?
No one saw me. No one saw me. Pitch black, middle of the night. We're fine.
All right, break it down.
Dude, it's just like wearing melted plastic on my feet. like they're so airy. There was dew on the grass, so my feet were getting wet. It was just like uncomfortable. Like, I don't know what Dan's talking about them being comfortable. You take the dew out of the situation, and it's just like there's no support. It's just a piece of plastic that you slide your foot into. That's all it is. You know how? What are those like shoehorns you use to like slide your...
the shoehorn to slide in the heart.
It's like standing on those.
No.
And it's like they made a shoe out of that. I don't know. I can't get behind this though still. And I just tried it yesterday. So sorry, Dan. I'm not turning the corner yet.
I give you credit. But you did it at a discreet hour.
Yeah, I had to hide it. I had to hold my dad's feet to the flames, let him know this isn't okay.
Listen, there's an epidemic going on right now. And we really got to hold people accountable for this behavior. This is, Dan, not only did he do the Crocs, these are the female Crocs. This is the fiance's Crocs.
Yeah.
Late night, open toe with the feet out. Like, then my mans, this is one of my favorite Destiny content creators. Salute to Rick Cactus. I actually got his shaker today. Rick Cactus. You are on notice, sir. I saw you on Twitter with the nerve to have a fresh pair of gray Crocs. Talk about, if I'm going to be a dad, I need to start acting like one. No. Stop it. Stop it. You guys are young. You have futures. You got a life ahead of you. Do not subjugate yourself to this lifestyle. You know what's going to happen now, right? We're going to have a last day media event and everybody going to roll up on us for Crocs. You know this is going to happen.
Someone's going to make us sign a pair. I already know that's going to happen. Like, there's going to be some wild shit we're going to sign.
We're going to be like, sign my Crocs. I know it's coming. We set this up. But damn, man, you got to really.
I'll give him the Woody treatment, right? And I'll sign the bottom on the heel, so it gradually just wipes away as he gets older. Like I'm this lost toy of his.
I love it. They messy today. Salute to them. Salute to them.
Ghost Raid has a follow-up weeks later. Many of you who listen will remember we learned about the muted maniac, as I like to call him, and now we have a story. He writes, "How's it going, Double D's? It is I, the man with the music-hating friend here with a mission update." Now, remember, Cog, we sent this man out on an op. We told him, stay away, but if you can get close and find out what's going on here, go for it. He actually did. He writes, "Though Mr. Music Meter and I have drifted apart a little due to being busy adults, I managed to make contact with him and discovered that the two of us don't work far from one another. So he and I made plans to meet after work to grab lunch and check out his new gaming PC. After needing to reschedule a couple of times, we finally managed to meet. Little did he know, he gave a perfect opportunity to this Duke double agent. Lunch was pleasant, and then we went to see the PC. I managed to steer the conversation toward video games, and I pulled out my Nintendo Switch to show him a Duke favorite, Astral Chain. As he loaded it up, I excused myself to the bathroom so I could give him a bit of a load time with it.
That was dope. I like he left the room to observe. That's dope.
Yeah, but I like this tactic here. Like he gave him time to get into his comfort zone and do what he's about to do here. Mm-hmm. I came back and then he also excused himself. So I grabbed the Switch, turned it on from sleep mode, and went to the options. And what do you know? The background music option is turned all the way down. This man fired it up, turned off the music, and then turned off the Switch, just for perspective's sake. When he came back, I knew now was the time to ask Matty's TV question, and asked if he watched any good shows or movies lately. He said he hasn't really watched TV since Breaking Bad ended, and he only watches movies with his family. I mentioned I watch Always Sunny and Seinfeld as background noise. He said he doesn't understand how people do that. I had to leave shortly after due to some chores, and though my mission was complete, I felt morally defeated due to this revelation. It was nice seeing him again, but needless to say, I'm more afraid than ever before. I may need to bring a personal defense weapon next time I see him just in case he snaps. Thanks for reading this status update. Have a marrying the woman you love and finding out she mutes in-game music kind of day." Oh, no.
Yo, this is fantastic. This man, Ghost Raid, literally went on a mission. This was a
Duke op.
That was a Duke op, and you got the evidence. You got the saddening reveal that you were not hoping to get. But yeah, man, this guy is something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Stay away. Stay away. That's your last meal with him, man. The Last Supper, it happened again. And you just can't eat with this guy again. Just, anytime he hits you up, I'm busy. I'm busy.
Dangerous individual, bro. Dangerous.
Absolutely. The fact, I gotta say, again, he got your Switch, Ghost Raid. He fired up Astro Chain. I get the music in that game goes hard, but he turned it off. I don't know how long you were in the bathroom, Ghost Raid. You might want to update us on that. Were you peeing? Were you pooping? Like, were you in there for a hot minute? Because that's the thing. If he fired up while you're just urinating, that's like a nice 30-second stint that he just shut off the music and then shut off the Switch afterwards to then use the bathroom himself, right? Like, think about that. He needed the music off that quickly.
Yes.
Something's off with this lad.
And it's not his.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. He violated the code, the personal code, where it's like, damn.
You tamper with the save file.
Yeah, you're supposed to say, oh, let me try that. Even if you didn't like it, all right, it's not mine, and whatever. That man's dangerous.
Yeah, you respect the contributor. Always. This is something we learned as we share games as kids. This is stay far away.
Yeah, you'll change a man's settings. What's
wrong
with you?
Defining Duke is brought to you by Policy Genius. If someone relies on your financial support, whether it's a child, aging parent, or even a business partner, you need some life insurance. Now, heaven forbid something happens to you, you and your loved ones would be taken care of with a financial cushion for rent or mortgage payments. And having that life insurance through your job sometimes may not be enough. And that's why I like Policy Genius. Policy Genius is your one-stop shop to find the insurance you need at the right price. Click the link in the description or head to policygenius.com/Duke and answer a few questions. In minutes, you can compare personalized quotes from top companies to find your lowest price. You could save 50% or more on life insurance by comparing quotes with Policy Genius. The team of licensed experts at Policy Genius are on hand through the entire process to help you understand your options and make decisions with confidence. The Policy Genius team works for you and not the insurance companies. Whether you're just starting shop or you have questions about your active policy, they're your independent advocates offering unbiased advice. So head to policygenius.com/Duke to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you can save. We got one more follow-up, and then we'll start off with what games we're playing. Frog writes in, greetings, Heartless Cog and Nobody Matty. This is a Kingdom Hearts reference, by the way. I can see the way you were hand tossing. Yeah, it's all Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's lore based, and we're going to learn more about Tetsuya Nomura here.
No doubt.
Maddie said I wouldn't write in calling Tetsuya Nomura a Chad on Discord, but here I am. Starting a simple debugger on Final Fantasy IV, Nomura has made made a name for himself, and has worked on 77 games over the span of 30 years at Square Enix. This supports my argument, by the way, with some of those titles being in production for like Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. The roles on those very games vary from character designer all the way to director or creative producer. And regardless of the role, his work always stands out and leaves its mark. On the last episode, Matty brought up that he seems bored and is writing only to please himself, to which I say, isn't that at least interesting? Instead of focusing on what the people will like most, he dives deep into what he personally thinks is the most interesting and runs wild with it, resulting in a series like Kingdom Hearts, which has attained a hardcore fan base beyond its initial sales pitch as a crossover between Final Fantasy and Disney. The man has a distinctive style and approach to the games he works on, and I'd rather those things be allowed to flourish in an industry where so many games follow the same trends and blend in with each other. Sorry for the long write-in, but I've got to put some respect on the man who defines some of the most iconic video game franchises of all time. People are allowed to like what they like, but for me personally, I think the games industry would be a much more boring place without people like Tetsuya Nomura. Thanks as always for the great content, and you unironically enjoy the franchise where Mickey Mouse fights alongside an anime boy kind of day.
Yeah, I know that one's coming, right? Yeah. They were coming for my comments last week.
Yeah, what was it that you said you couldn't take it seriously because you were Goofy standing there?
I was like, I can't do it. Like, I can't. That bro, it disconnects me, bro. I see Daffy. I'm like, you're not supposed to be here. That's how I get. But now, this is a good one, man. I mean, Frog kind of sold me a little bit. I know you're probably gonna flame him in a minute, but he's making a good point. It's almost a Kojima-like parallel in a way, where this person has this, historic, these historic franchises, made these games, may have lost his way, maybe a little bit over the top, some being eccentric, but now that I look at the vacuum, I'm like, that's a lot of games, man. That's a lot of video games. A lot of video games. The counterpoint could be like, oh, he's burnt out, or purposely trolling to kind of spice it up. You know what I mean? But there's a fearlessness in it. I have to give that. There's a fearlessness in it. And it's up to him to land the plane. That's where I'm at. But I'm curious with you because you feel very strongly about this, man.
Yeah.
And Kingdom Hearts fans go hard. And I love that about y'all. Like, I love to hear the plight. So please tell me what you feel about Frog's statement. He's defending.
Yeah. Look, the thing is that I only attacked his current work. I love Tetsuya as like a creative. A lot of Frog, what he said is very true. You can feel his hand in any project he works on, especially artistically. You look at like a recent game like Near the World Ends With You. You could tell he wasn't involved in the story and only in the art, because the art is amazing in that game and the story is amazing and also on a direct path. Here's the thing, is that what I'll say to Frog and any other Kingdom Hearts fans out there, or Square Enix multiverse fans, whatever you want to call it now, is ultimately, I just say that this is a writer who's bored, because you don't need to follow the tropes of the industry to make something original, because like Kingdom Hearts as a series on its own is doing something that no other series does. You have Disney and you have Final Fantasy commingling. And in fact, in in Kingdom Hearts 3, I know this wasn't Tetsuya's fault, but they took like all the Final Fantasy stuff out. I don't blame him for that stuff. I blame him for the convolution. I blame him for Dream Drop Distance. I blame him for these ridiculous creative narrative decisions that are made. Like his execution is poor lately. It's not been good. Like his hand in a lot of projects, if it's artistic, is good. But you can just tell when the story parts get to him. I don't know. This man must have a silver tongue, because even the Final Fantasy VII's going down this fucking multiverse route. And it's like, dude, I mean, I'm currently for it because it can be good, but I will just say this, and I said it in my review, it can be catastrophic.
Yes.
And that's the thing, is that, 77 games in 30 years is insane when you think of how long it takes to make video games. I think, if anything, Frog supported my statement that this is a man who's not bored. I say bored to be a little, get my little disrespect on, but more so a guy who's just seen it all, done it all, put his thoughts and his feelings and his mind into everything he's put his hands on. He's never been like capped off and be like, no, you can't do that, sir. You can't. There's not a wall being put up. So he's just like jumping in there and just all over the place. And I respect that, because as you said, Cog, beautifully, fearlessness. I like that he's like, I'm just gonna make what the hell I want, man. There's a love in that, right? There's something cool in that, because that is not common in our industry. But I also think the Japanese in general make very unique games that do stand out from one another. I don't think any of them really follow a beaten path, maybe artistically, but that's about where it stops for me. It's why I prefer to play a lot of JRPGs, because I there's a creative flair in all their games. But the Western design, yeah, it's definitely gotten a little familiar. So that's the thing, is Tetsuya to me is just like, he's too much of a vet to require guidance, but someone needs to like put some walls up and kind of limit the vision at times, right? That's where your designers come in and say like, oh, okay, Tetsuya, I like where your head's at. Let's shrink it down here a little bit. Just maintain the beast.
I hear what you're saying. The argument you're saying is literally what Addict and a lot of people say about Kojima sometimes. They feel like,
I like Tetsuya more than Kojima, but that's
fair enough. But it's similar arguments I hear for people that like say like, yo, like he needs a set of checks and balances, so sometimes he goes way off, and that loses people. For me, Kojima lost me. I remember when it was Metal Gear Solid. I forgot the one the ship in the boat with Raiden's debut, and I wasn't even as mad as about when the big controversy is when you played as Raiden and people was like, yo, where's Snake? Like, what's going on? Why? And that was a big content. That game was amazing.
I love that though, but I didn't mind people didn't like that.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Where he lost me is I'll never forget, bro. I'm playing the story, and he goes over the top with the narrative sometimes and the superlatives. That it was like, what organization? The Lali Lali Lalu? And I was like, no. You are not going to make me say that, and that's going to be some serious organization that I'm supposed to take serious. The Lali Lali Lalu. No, you doing too much. You're doing too much, Kojima. So it was one of those moments, and that's when I started. I was like, he does, like, someone should have said any name but that. Let's use some.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let's pull from this. Like, you doing too much. So I know where you're going. And I do feel that sometimes some creatives, when they have that cachet, they can't be stopped. And so maybe some people can't tell them no that you're doing too much with Kingdom Hearts. So it's a good discussion.
Yeah. We'll see what everyone has to say about that. For now, let's talk about what we're playing. This will likely be our shortest what we're playing section, because not much has changed for you and I as we get ready for PAX. Would you like to go first, sir?
Yeah, man. It's the same trifecta, man. I mean, for me right now, getting ready for PAX, so it's been all about Little Man. And one thing, bro, I got this. Bro, I got my X screen, bro.
Are you staying at a hotel? Are you going to need my assistance with the TV?
Oh, no hotel. We're doing a big B&B.
Nice.
I don't know. That's the play. You do the B&B, you save money, you pool resources, you do the Costco, you get the food together, all the lords. You know what I mean? That's how we do it. It's a brotherhood.
How big of a party are you taking to PAX? Like, I got like 8 people in my Airbnb.
We got, you got 8? Damn, you got more than me. So it's all the lords. My boy Marlon, Lemon, One Away Dragon.
Wait. So you mean like King, Solve there? Everyone's going to be there?
Oh, you're going to be all the lords, bro. The whole
let's go.
For the first time, in E3, we've all four been. but we've never usually either Solve is out or Addict can't make it. Me and King has been all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all 4 Lords at PAX East. Yeah, my boy What Dragon, my boy Marlon, and then we got 2 Lognet writers. We got PD and Gene Schaefmeyer. So we got about 7 deep. Like, it's gonna be crazy. So we got the house. You know, it's gonna be fun. So for me, I'm doing the Acela because I'm lazy. I don't want to drive far. I know, like, it's an easy drive, but I'm just gonna kick my feet up. So I'm like, now I could debut Little Man with the X screen. So all this week I've been testing, and shout out to anybody who has the X screen. You know, I didn't realize because with your digital, you know, everything's digital now. If I game share, so I was like, damn, the games are not launching. I want to play my MLB The Show. I want to play my, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, what's going on? So what it is you have to take off the My Home Xbox thing, make it your home Xbox here, and then digital offline.
Nice.
I'm playing MLB The Show. I'm doing my March to October. I'm checking to see if the data syncs and I have it. And then as soon as you get a connection, you go on. And I got my little play. Yo, that thing's nice, man. So yeah, I've been doing that, bro. I've been rocking. And Forza Horizon 5 looks so gorgeous. Oh my Lord, that game is a showcase on that thing. Like I am so impressed with that system. So I got that. And I didn't want to put it because I didn't play it yet. But Hitman 3 had some content that I didn't know about. What's this Deadly Sins, bro?
That's the stuff I'm not super interested in. I don't know a ton about it, but I'm more interested in their year 2 plan that they're doing, which is going to be like new challenges, a new map at some point.
Right. I know they got the new year.
Yeah. The 7 Deadly Sins, I think it's like a mission pack, if you will.
It's a mission pack. Yeah. I've never seen it because I was like, let me fire up Hitman. I seen an update because I'm updating all my games on S so I can play them offline. They're ready to go. Wait a minute. I got to have Hitman. I got to do some missions. And I seen all this. It was like gluttony mission, greed. And then they show him like this. The imagery is awesome. I'm like, I have to do these missions. So that's my plan. What about you? What you been playing?
I have just been playing Final Fantasy X this week. Every week for the game I'm working on, we do weekly milestones. And so I've really not played. Normally I have like a list of games I'm talking about here. I want to make sure I get my milestone done this week, which I only had 2 days to do. So I was really in like grind mode these last 2 weeks. Like every day I'd come home from work and just get working on the game. So I've had very minimal gaming time for once, which is fine. We're not in a review season. So it's just like, okay, like I actually can take a little bit of a step back and just kind of play a little more casually. So when I've had that time, I've put another 10 hours into Final Fantasy X in the last week. Nice. So I'm 20 hours deep. Which I'm pretty happy with given all the other things I was doing this week. That's still not bad to sink a nice 10 hours in. This game, man, I'll talk about it a lot more on Retro Rebound in depth, but it's okay.
Oh, damn.
It's okay. I like the combat a lot. Being able to change out your party members whenever you want is great. The story pacing is terrible. It's just not good. You're stopping every 5 seconds for a cutscene. There's puzzles after major moments in the story. I'm like, what? Why? It's too stop and go traffic for me. And I'm not saying I need balls to the wall action, but the game for its time, I know why this was a movement, though. I totally get that. I know why it stole the limelight from Final Fantasy IX, where everyone was looking at that going, oh, that's the old thing. Look at Final Fantasy X, the new thing. That game is, for its time period, super, super impressive on so many levels. Obviously, now playing it for the first time in 2022, there's a lot of stuff that hasn't aged that well. And I think because it was an attempt at modernization, it's a little less, I forgive it in my heart a little less than something like Final Fantasy IX, which looks and plays a lot older. So you're like, okay, this is a game from the PS1. Like, I get it. I get why it's like this. I get why the combat's not that great. Where with Final Fantasy X, it's just you could tell I said this last week, they turned a corner. They're like, okay, we know how to do cutscenes. We know how to do voice work for these series, how to make it all work. And so like every 5 steps, you'll just have a new cutscene. And I don't mind storytelling, but I mean, when half your game is that, and then when also it's a lot of ego stroking in this game, because like when you do the summons, if you do not have turbo mode, which is only on the PC version for whatever reason, the summon animations for like Ifrit to come out
Oh,
is like a minute and a half.
That Leviathan, you gotta go get a drink. You gotta
I literally will grab a snack and play with one hand half the time because I'm just like waiting for shit to happen. It's wild. I always joke with my friends. I'm like, I think Final Fantasy X will make me fat because I'm just like eating the whole time. I'm not even playing. So yeah, I've been playing that. It's not a bad game, but it's not one that I'm in love with. Really, I think it's solid.
2 questions. Titus as a character. And you said summons. Remember Knights of the Round?
Yeah,
that's my long summons.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, like tell me about that because I know people I kind of go hard for 10 sometimes. So I'm curious, like, where's the disconnect for you?
Characters are good. Yeah, the characters are good. I think the disconnect is really pacing for me. Like it's like the puzzles. It feels like ancient in those respects. Like not good because again, like Final Fantasy IX is a game I go hard for. Right. The difference there is it's just like story point to story point, combat in between. There's no stopping for weird random puzzles. The overworld makes the game feel a little more broad and bigger. I thought the way that Square Enix actually ported that game, while it wasn't a great port at all, I thought the way that they made like a 9,999 damage mode, I thought the way they put like a turbo mode for all versions in was actually kind of great because it was self-aware that like, yeah, certain parts of this old game are not balanced, where you could say the same thing for Final Fantasy X, but instead the game wants you to grind. So when I was waiting for you for today's DD, guess what I did this last hour?
Light it up.
I got a little grind on. I was just like, all right, well, now's a chance to get some spheres for my sphere grid. So I just went around, I fought on the high bridge and just kept fighting and fighting and fighting. And I grinded my way up and blew through a boss right afterwards. I was like, okay, I think I'm high enough now to kind of coast through the rest of the game. But yeah, this is a game that straddles the line between modern and old school JRPG. And like in its design, it's old school, and its presentation, it's modern. And I think that fighting is kind of what gets me. But yeah, the characters, you know, because you're asking about Tice. Tice is like definitely one of my favorite protagonists for Final Fantasy. He's a really good character. Yeah. I like him a lot. I think a lot of people clown on the voice acting for this game unfairly. I actually like it. I don't think it's bad at all. Especially for its time where you didn't really have voice directors in the booths to like really telling people like what the emotion at the hit was. I thought for the most part it's pretty good. There's definitely some moments of like, oh god, what was that? But there's mostly good voice work here, I'd say. Not like today's standards good, but it's good for its time for sure.
For its time.
So yeah, I've been playing that. Not much else really.
Salute.
All right, let's move into our warm-up questions. Number 1 comes from Mark Ring. Gentlemen, just taking your temperature on the year so far. How is Xbox doing, and what do you think the spring/summer are going to raise the interest for Xbox, or what? Cheers, boys, and have a just snagged a next-gen console kind of day. Yeah, so a little Xbox check here. We're in the quiet season. I've spoken to the people at Xbox, and they've even said, like, yes, like we're intentionally being quiet right now. I'm like, okay. Cog, what do you feel like right now when you size up? We got the Activision acquisition at the beginning of the year. We had some hard Game Pass moves right before that with Splinter Cell Trilogy, with Mass Effect Legendary Edition. We had Tunic. We had Crossfire X.
Hitman joined the service. I think.
Yeah, Game Pass is kind of rolling this next couple of weeks, right? Starting with Bug Snacks. You got a lot of day one drops almost week after week with like Sniper Elite 5, Trek to Yomi, Citizen Sleeper. So they're moving strongly in the AA indie space. And I don't think I missed anything on kind of their most notable moves and releases this year. How do you feel they're doing so far in 2022?
To be honest, they're very fortunate. They are very fortunate. I feel that I was extremely worried, and rightfully so, in what PlayStation was doing, was going to do. And I think they were very fortunate that, you know, Forspoken got delayed. They were very fortunate that, let's be honest, you know, Elden Ring can be kind of looked at as their title as well. So Elden Ring really took the heat off. It was so good that it was the event. You could play it on their platform. And by the way, it really eased the blow and kind of erased, sadly to say, Horizon Forbidden West, which I thought would really be a problem for them. And I think I'm just going to call it, sometimes it's not about success. Sometimes luck plays they got lucky, in my opinion, because if Elden Ring wasn't what Elden Ring was, And let's just say it didn't even come out. And sadly, Horizon's always the victim of a bad release. It's the second time now. Breath of the Wild, the first, like 2 generation defining kind of games. Like, ooh, I feel
it still did well, but yeah, definitely stole the tail for that.
Yeah, man. Elden Ring, like my community, they know I don't even like Souls. They're pressing me. They get like that's how much Elden Ring is a thing. And the fact that you could go on, I think I had a conversation with Ray in a couple of days. We were just talking about like Xbox and most games played and all that stuff. And we're going through the list because I think we were trying to talk about Halo Infinite, where it was at. And then we were like, okay. And I'm like, Elden Ring is number 4, a single player for the most part, right? Game that's unheard of. That like it right next to the Robloxes and the Apexes and the Fortnite. That's unheard of. They're very lucky, and I think what has also helped them is the commitment to the indies, and Game Pass has supplemented a little here, a little there to survive. And the last thing that they dodged, I got to be honest too, which was I thought the Gran Turismo 7 thing really played to their favor.
You thought that was going to be a slam dunk for PlayStation. It's not like it's a bad game, but
that's a bad game.
The way they handled it with the monetization. Correct. Yeah, good point.
And it got me playing because I got an appreciation now. I'm like, yo, like,
now you know.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Kind of thing. So I think they're very fortunate. We got to see what happens this summer. Redfall, where are you? Announcements, we know they got cooking. We're going to get into the topics about what other things they want to do. But I think when all said and done, they did it again. They survived, man. And we got it's lining up for them. It could line up for them again if all the rest of the year goes right. But we'll see. What about you?
Yeah, it feels like a repeat of last year. You know, the beginning of last year was interesting because I remember there was rumors about Ubisoft games coming like day and date to Game Pass or something like that. That was our first episode ever of Defining Duke. And then, you know, it was updates on the Bethesda acquisition. That was kind of a fresh new thing where I feel like we were occupied, even though there weren't games. Now, if you're in the Game Pass ecosystem pretty deeply, like all of us listening probably are, you know, I feel like we've been pretty satiated, right? We've had stuff to keep our interest. There's a plethora of games to play. I think when you look at what's going on with the acquisition, I think that's kind of the savior there. If they did not have that at the beginning of the year, I really think you and I are definitely going to be sitting here having a totally different conversation because that just leaves them wide open. And even if Gran Turismo 7's not in the position it should have been and Horizon does get kind of shrouded by Elden Ring, you still have Xbox literally twiddling their thumbs outside of Game Pass, which, you know, Phil has said himself, is like separate in a lot of ways from what the main core teams are doing until June. And you mentioned luck. They also kind of the world got unlucky, but Xbox got directly impacted by the war in Ukraine, where we had to move Stalker, which was a temporary exclusive, mind you. It's reported to be a 3-month exclusive based off the Epic court case, but that was supposed to be in April. So that was a major release for them in the early part of the year. Now, if, you know, they're able to hit their original timeline, which was, I think, December, but now it's indefinitely delayed. So it'll probably be 2023. That game's going to fall somewhere at that point in the year, and who knows when. Obviously, that's not the priority now, given the current world events. But I do think they were the product of bad luck there. But I'm hoping that this is the end of this kind of crap. You know what I mean? Like, we need an Xbox that's active, not every month of the year, but they need to have a presence in the front half of the year. This June and on being the only months that exist for them can't work. Again, I'm not going to sit here and shrink down because, you know, it's old news now. The acquisition deal is monumental, provided it does go through, which I think it will. But I just think outside of that, they need to address these gaps, and they need to be aggressive in that. Day one Game Pass, I said, that's a way you can react to things, which is what they're doing now. I said, you can react to things with Game Pass. You can strike deals in the last 2 weeks to a month before the game comes out. You can get ahead of stuff if you're like, oh, PlayStation's moving hard or something's happening over here. Let's get our thing over here. You can strike a deal if a team is willing to do a deal with you, where you can't hustle that process of like an Avowed or Fable. You can't rush those. You can't get those out. Obviously you could, but you'd ruin the reputation of your studios. You get my point that we can't have this front half of the year emptiness any longer, in my opinion. Not like it's a complete drought, but let's be honest. I think the numbers for our show will speak. the front half of our year is going to be significantly worse than the second half of the year because there's going to be stuff to talk about.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. It's something I've been, I've been lamenting hashtag just one stuff. You've been lamenting first half of the year stuff. And I applaud you for that because it's a history with them that everything is kind of like backloaded and they really have to change that.
Mm-hmm.
And the hope is, next year that the planning will be in place. But good points on Microsoft and Activision. That was the perfect deflection, right? Because that Activision deal has got everyone's talking about the possibilities. And another thing we didn't mention that I do think they're very, we'll say fortunate, but they had a lot of foresight. We got to be honest about the stock because, them being available and people going to get a PS5 and can't find it, and they're getting a Series X, and now you're seeing the European numbers, and now you're seeing NPD where it's like, what? Series S sold more? And like, what? Like, now granted, shortages play a factor with PlayStation, but this is positive momentum when they don't have their games really lined up on first party at all. So that's that they are in a good position considering all these things that me and you are frustrated about. And let's see what happens in the second half of the year. But I hope, I'm with you, 2023, please, top of the year, provided the deal goes through, which we think it will, you've got to have that, especially spring. I feel like Xbox is not existent in spring. Like I
think what's more frustrating is obviously 2020 hindsight. I think they had an option though with Halo. I really do think they had. We've talked about it ad nauseum, so we'll keep it brief and we'll talk about Halo later in the show. But I do think they had the option, right? They did have the option where not that you create this intentional delay to have a fallback plan, but I think if that was managed a little better, like, yo, we'll give you 3 more months, right? Release it in March. When soccer got delayed, we'd be like, all right, well, got Halo. Right. And then we would be looking at maybe season 2 in June and we could have something completely different as a conversation. It's just, I think it's a product of a lot of pieces not moving in the right direction.
Bro, you appreciate it because that's why Forza feels new to me because I didn't get a chance to really appreciate it because Halo came out. But Forza, where the hell did that? We had the hockey analogy. Well, you know what it is. Like Forza was there. They were ready. I saw my whole friends list playing that. It only stopped because Halo came out when it did. But we've beaten that topic ad nauseum. You know how I'm in 100% pocket agreement with you on that.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about Halo later, but I thought that was a great question. So thank you for writing in. Mark, let's talk to Ot Apps, who writes, "Hey Dukes, hope you're doing well. I was watching Matty's excellent chat with Skill Up on his YouTube channel, and they touched upon some..." Oh, yeah, you didn't see it? Yeah.
What? Yeah, when you did that was a flex. It's like, I just, yo, how did I not? When did this go down?
Yesterday went live. I recorded it with him a couple of weeks ago. I recorded with him a couple of weeks ago.
Listen to that on the train. Oh, that's, look at my book. Let's go. What I'm talking about. Told you you're a beast. Let's go. Continue. Hype for you.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you. He says, I was watching Matty's excellent chat with Skill Up on his YouTube channel, and they touched upon something I've been thinking about a lot lately. When it comes to video games, what do you value more, your time or your money? I am #team time. As I have become more self-sufficient financially, and with the rise of Game Pass lowering the financial output required, my allegiance to team money is gone. I need my time to be respected. What say you, Dukes, team time or team money? Has your perspective changed, or can you see a change in the future? Bonus question for Matty. If you become or are team time, will you ever look at tweaking reviews to reflect this perspective? Keep up the great work and have a, I feel this one. Damn, they gave Sammy Guevara the TNT title again kind of day. Yep. There's a nice little AEW right in there. Odd Apps knows, man. I'm telling you, this is a bad call. This is a dumbass call. I like Sammy's wrestling, but so stupid. Oh. Anyway, Cog, team time, team money. Which are you at?
I love this question. This is great. I think I'm team time. I think I'm team
That
time.
Seems to be a common consensus. I not to interrupt you, just I wanted to say in the comments on the video, that was like a pretty major subject. A lot of people were team time.
Yeah, it's we're at that point now, right? Subscription services. You have this plethora of games, and it's just like, okay, what? 2 parts of the time aspect. What am I going to commit to take the time? Because everything wants your time, right? There's so much out. So that's the first aspect. And then the second aspect is, I've been on this kind of kick with like games being artificially bloated.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of gameplay hours. You see in game developers, showcase and market hours and game, length, and I miss the unique experiences and talking about what they're doing new in gaming and how they're changing gameplay, as opposed to 200 hours, bazillion worlds, 65. Like, you know what I mean? It gets to that point, and I'm like, all right, fam, but is the game fun? What are you doing in the game, right? And that's where I'm at. So yeah, I think, especially on the Xbox side, Game Pass is eliminated for the most part. Team Money, like, we good. We're like, okay. And then the beauty of it, the last point I'll say with Team Money is, even if there's something, and I know a lot of PlayStation fans are not gonna like that I say this, they get very angry at me when I say
no.
this, but it's like when they came at me with the Deathloop, it's like, bro, in the back of my mind, I know that's coming, right? So it's like, yo, my backlog is already crazy with all the time I need to spend on this. Why go Team Money and get the instant thing all the time? Now, there's exceptions, obviously Elden Ring and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But there's going to be times when you make the tough choice and you're like, you know what? I can wait.
Yeah.
I can wait. So where you at with this?
Yeah, I remember when we were talking about it, Skill Up was going pretty in on being Team Time, really talking about, I think he went in on AC Valhalla, that's what it was, and how that was a game that he felt like really wasted his time, and that made him more angry than like wasting money. And he put up, I wouldn't say I disagree with him at all, but like a sound argument for the representation of Team Time and how, much like you said, Cog, like bloated hours, wasted time, like that matters a lot, especially as you get older. I've always I had this mindset for my content, is what I said to him, like of when I make so many videos, I try to obviously make them quality, because I'm on a podcast. I just put out a 40-minute chat with Skill Up. I put out an almost 30-minute retrospective on Kingdom Hearts on Retro Rebound, and I have a really long-term project that I'm dropping this Friday that I'm really excited about. So like I try to make sure when people choose to spend time, it's like, this is time well spent. So I carry that mindset into when I'm reviewing games, that it's time well spent. But I kind of side Team Money, because I look at it as like, it's really, you can't pick a side, in my opinion, because they play into each other. Like, it's the amount of money you're spending for the time you're getting. If a game's like $60, but it's 5 hours long, I got to mention that. Like, that to me is core to my review process, because to me, money's not fickle, that I can blow an afternoon on $60 on an afternoon and be like, all right, hey, that was fun. What's next? Right? Like, for me, I grew up with not a lot of money. So I know that when I see a game that's like, yeah, we're 30 hours, but we're replayable. We're 20 hours, we're not replayable. What that means to me, it's like, again, when I was growing up, when I saw the replayability, it's why I went to RPGs, man. I bought one game and played it over and over.
Locked in.
Right. Yeah. So for me, that type of stuff does matter. And not that it doesn't to Skill Up, because we both were like on the same camp there, but it's really that I think you can't ignore price tag. I do think time factors more when I review an Xbox game and it does have Game Pass. Like, if I review Sniper Elite 5, time is a bigger factor in those reviews than it is in my other ones. And that's what reviews have become with the invasion of Game Pass, is like a case by case. Like, every review functions differently for me. It's like, yeah, this is a Game Pass day one game, so I can be a little easier on some mistakes, because you can just download it. But when you do download it, are you going to have fun with it? Is it worth trying at that point? And I always tell people, like, if you're interested, try it. You don't need to watch my shit. You don't need to. You really don't. If you would care about my opinion, you could, but you really don't need to with Game Pass. You could just check it out for yourself. And yeah, ultimately, I would say, I guess I side more Team Money, but I think time is a really important factor in the money spent.
Okay. So you're I'm just trying to understand the base of your argument. Your thing is more on value, on what you're getting, as far as like, because I guess I don't know if I really posed this to you ever, like, and not that I'm anti or anything, I just want your opinion. Where are you at with the whole $70 game thing?
Oh yeah, I always expected game prices to eventually go up once the conversation picked up on them. Like, yeah, I feel like one company's going to do this and it's just going to break down the floodgates. That's one of those things where you just, again, have to factor it in. Like, I look at Elden Ring. I know that was $60, but I look at Elden Ring and I'm like, yeah, like, hey, this is a no-brainer, like real bang for your buck. Even though that's a game that took me 100 hours and I dedicated weeks to it. $70 though, yeah, it definitely plays a stronger factor. It's like you're just 30% shy of $100, man. Like you know, that's a lot of money. Like I can't just ignore it. I feel like your time is valuable, but also the amount you're spending for what you're getting out of it does matter. And I think that's what's great about the review scene in general is you have someone like SkillUp who does value time more. I kind of sit in the middle. I'd say I'm more neutral on it because I do balance both, but I probably favor Team Money a little bit more just based off my upbringing, based off my personal process of playing games and whatnot. Where it's not like I don't mind if you wasted my time. As I get older, I get a little more annoyed at like something like Final Fantasy X. I probably would have forgiven a little bit more, but because my time was limited, when I was playing games, I was getting a little annoyed. Like, dude, another fucking cutscene. I just want to play. Like, I've had that for a while, you know. So it's not like I don't value my time, but I definitely consider money heavily because I think I feel like what pisses someone off more is what you really ask yourself. Time wasted definitely pisses people off because you can't get that back. Money wasted too pisses people off. So again, that's why I'm so in the middle. I don't think there's a clear pick a side here.
No, you make a valid argument. Oh, I just wanted to get your perspective. That's really cool. Yeah, I definitely was team Tom on some games. We'll get into later. Oh my God, I was like, why? But I hear you, yo. You spread that bread and that thing is not it, and you're like, yo. So I completely understand.
Yeah, I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah. Personal.
Number 3, Sean Mason writes in, greetings, Dukes. As each day passes, I find myself getting more and more excited for Starfield. I cannot wait for Xbox's spring event. I can see you behind my iPad. I cannot wait for Xbox's spring event to see more details on it. A staple of Bethesda Game Studios games is the iconic walkout moments where you enter the world for the first time. Do you think Bethesda Game Studios will show us the opening walkout moments? I know Todd said there will be 2 of these iconic moments, and in the past has shown the audience these moments. I'm hoping they don't reveal them. Being able to experience walking into the world and seeing the vast landscape for the first time is truly special. It would be even better if Bethesda Game Studios doesn't show us. It makes us wait until the official release. Best, Sean Mason. Thank you, Sean. Cog, did they show the walkout moment or no?
Big one.
They did it with 76. They did it with Fallout 4. Do they do it again?
Yeah, I think got to get the crowd going, man. This is your big release, man.
I feel like you gotta go hard if you're gonna do.
You gotta go hard, man. And then it's like Starfield is so important. People don't realize, like, it's symbolic. It's symbolic in 2 reasons. Not only because I'm so excited, the genre, the A-Team, God Howard, all that, but it's symbolic because it's the Bethesda new IP on Microsoft. And remember what I said? I hate to play fanboy narratives, but this is a big moment. It's not Halo, Gears, or Forza, and that's a good thing. So if they nail this,
fresh blood,
you get a whole new generation now that says, yo, Xbox is the RPG machine. That is the beat. That's where you go for the Western RPG. And if they nail this, I'm telling you right now, and that walkout and it looks good, because then that's going to stop, let's be honest, that's going to stop the haters. There's a lot of haters like, you haven't seen anything. How dare you wear shirts and be excited? And what's wrong? Like, dude, there's dudes that are not about any of this hype. They don't feel it's warranted. So if you just say, it reminds me of Fallout 4, like you know, war never changes. You walk out that vault. Dun, dun, dun. Like you hear that joy. I go for it. I give you Fallout. Fallout's music, when you walk out that vault and you got the joint, and you got that trusty dog, you got dog meat, and that frontier, it's a thing. And you see the first steel, bro, like it's a thing. Like if they have any semblance of that, whether it be with the mechs we were seeing or just space travel or something, and you go, oh, they got it. And then you may save that one right there, give them a little joint, and then you do your dedicated maybe You could go all out if you want, or you could just set them up with the teaser, show gameplay, and then do the Todd Howard event again as you get later in the year. They got things they could. Either way, I'm not mad. It just, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Telling y'all, if Starfield hits, watch out. And y'all gonna hear our mouth. I'm gonna tell you right now. Y'all don't let this. You gonna hear. I'm gonna be very disgusted.
Yeah. Unapologetically so.
Yes, unapologetic. I'm like, for some respect.
Yeah, I think they're gonna show it. I think this is one of those moments where normally I'm like very protective of these types of things. I'm like, I don't want to see it. I think this is one of those, what's special about the walkout moment, like your Fallout 3, Oblivion, all these games that they've done, is when you walk out, when you're holding the controller, the feeling you get is less the view, which is always beautiful, but it's more so knowing you can pick any direction and you just go. So one thing I kind of like about Fallout 4's walkout is that you walk out and you can't go south. You can't.
Valid.
You can't.
Valid.
Didn't like that. The way they positioned the walkout was not smart there. But with Fallout 3, Oblivion, all these other games, any direction you could go. And that's the feeling of that. That's where you're really taking in. You're like, I'm just here, man. I think they also show it because if Starfield's anything like what we imagine in our heads, right? Which I'm feeling like my mental image is a little No Man's Sky energy, just a little bit, like where you're
Bro, don't say that.
I'm hoping that you're up in the spaceship and you're in the Starfield literally, and you're like, which planet do I go to?
If they do that,
yeah. If you do that thing where you like the walkout moment, I think is because he said there's two, right? I've always said I think the walkout's like your first planet. Like you're probably going to start off on a planet or some area in the game. I feel like you're going to get to your starship. You're going to launch up. Walkout moment number 2 is when you're up in the sky and you see everywhere you can go in space, because that'll be very different for a BGS game. We've always seen the on foot horizontal walkout. You've never seen it when you go up into space and you look out. That's my prediction. I feel like you got to show that. You got to be like, this is not Fallout. This is not Elder Scrolls. Like that is the thing you open with, like the walkout moment. So I get where Sean's at, like hoping they don't show it. But I think especially if it goes how it is in my head, we'll see.
Yeah.
You're up there in a ship. You could go any direction now in space. Come on. Like that's a thing that you got to feel, right? Even if you see, you got to feel it. Because obviously it's going to be one of those moments in the demo, like it has been in all the other BGS ones, where you're like, oh, I want to know what's over there, though. What's over there, right? So we'll see.
Yeah, it's an important title. I can't wait. I got goosebumps. I got to stop. I'm getting hype.
Well, let's talk about Bethesda a little bit more with your boy, Nicky V. He writes, hey, Bootylicious Barry and streaking sticky-fingered Matty. My God. The most raunchy write-ins on Last Stand goes to Nicky V for sure. Yeah, God damn. Matty, I want to call upon your Bethesda expertise, if I may. I love how he's so polite after this, right? Calls me sticky-fingered and then does this.
They'll be very respectful afterwards.
What was so revolutionary about Skyrim? I keep saying it mentioned alongside Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild as one of the most influential open-world games of all time, but I personally found Oblivion and Fallout 3 to be far more mind-blowing. Skyrim genuinely felt like more of the same. Is it just influential because it was the first Bethesda game that most people played, or did it genuinely rewrite the genre? Have a indiscriminately gobbling at all I'm not finishing this. I'm not finishing this. I read his question. I was like, oh, this is great. I didn't see that. I was like, no. I'm not gobbling at man boobs. I'm not doing that. I'm not giving him the satisfaction.
You're not giving him that. Okay.
You're the bona fide Elder Scrolls man here, right? Yeah. Your Team ES. Why is Skyrim revolutionary? I know he's calling upon my expertise, but I feel like you're suited to the task because it speaks to you more than it would me.
How dare you disrespect the Dragonborn? Like what? Like it was. Listen, I love Oblivion. Don't get me wrong. It was great, but again, there's what I call evolutions, right? That this was an RPG evolutionary moment, and the fact not only was the scope, the scale, the systems, bro, a dragon coming down the Fusu Rod, the thing. Are you kidding me right now? Like it was just, I never forget, like traveling the open world, going wherever I want, creating your own kind of emergent dynamics, gameplay. Going into dwarven ruins, going into crypts, fighting the dragon, it's just, and everything you did had meaning, the skill checks, and and these unique storylines. I remember going to some place and I just thought something that was so overpowered. Like the way people feel about Elden Ring right now is how I felt about Skyrim, but on a next level with true RPG mechanics and systems, and then the stories and the biomes and the locales. It was just, this is an event, y'all. Like, y'all don't have to understand. Like, I get it. I'm not saying Oblivion is not great. I'm not saying Fallout's not great. Of course they're great. But Skyrim is the epitome of Bethesda growth, of them learning all the things they've done over the years to make this just amazing content and this amazing RPG. And then people sleeping on these DLCs. These DLCs are apps. I played every single one, beat every single one of those. Like, fantastic. Maybe the Heartland, the one with the house or whatever that one with the house.
I liked Hearthfire. I like that one.
I didn't mind it. Okay, because some people don't like it. I liked it.
I didn't like what it turned into in Fallout 4, but I liked Hearthfire on its own as a addition to a game. Yes.
Yeah. It's just so well done, and I gotta go back. It's been a while for me to go back. I need to go back to it because I've been kind of mad at them because they kind of been milking it so much. But I do need to go back to one of the latest and just get the feel again because it's been a while.
Yeah, you should play Anniversary Edition. I played it last year, and like, there's enough new stuff that you're gonna really. It's gonna feel kind of new to you a little bit.
You know what? I download that for a little bit.
Trip. Come on, that's a perfect trip game.
Perfect trip game. I even think about it. Yeah, good call. I'll do that.
Yeah, for me, it was the little things that they got right. Of course, like the open world, the amount of locations, the things you could do, that spoke, I think, to the masses. But I think for me, it was that the little things, like I always remember it still to this day, it's something I look in every dungeon for, is the way that you enter, you go through, and when you're finished, it loops you back to the beginning. To me, that was so crucial. I hated backtracking in all these dungeons. To me, that was like a evolution of world design that had been so necessary. I never thought of it, but they did it. And it was just, every dungeon functions this way. I think there's a couple that they don't, and you can feel it because you're like, oh, I got to walk all the way back now. Right. I just love that there are these multi-level things that always either pull you out into a whole new section of the open world, or they loop you back around to where you started so then you can pick up where you left off. And that's where it feeds into like going to location to location, because you're not like feeling displaced when you finish a dungeon and you end up somewhere else in the open world. You can at times, but you typically finish up where you started. And so you leave and you're like, okay, now I'm going to go over here because I remember seeing that icon on my map. I think it's that. I think like the icon bar that you have at the top where it's when you just see that start to get littered, that is like, bro, that's like crack to me. Anytime I see an icon, I'm like, I gotta run that direction. I see
that little
tower. I'm just like, what's that? Wait, what's that cave? Like, that is so effective. It's so weird because we're so against all this UI in games and telling players like, hey, here's all 40 map icons. And Bethesda Game Studios games kind of end up doing that. It's just that you discover the icons yourself. There's no tower waypoints that tell you where to go. And when you see them on the map bar, they're shapes that are silhouettes. So you're like, what is that, man? I gotta go find that out. I think that's really it. I understand where Nikki B's at on more of the same in some respects, but because it's done bigger, broader, and as Cog said, more dynamic, where you would have a dragon just ambush you, where you would have someone harass you in the middle of the open world. Bro. I think that's it. And also it's the diversity. Oblivion, as much as I love Oblivion, they had one person design all the dungeons in their game, which is a feat that is incredible. It's amazing. It's incredible. But when you look at Skyrim and the stories you'd find in the dungeons, all the variety of them, right? Sometimes you'd find the new Dragonborn spells. Sometimes it'd be like a Draugr Den, like Cog said. You'd go into the Dwarven ruins. There's this one place that, what is it called? Not Black Marsh. That's a full-on location in Tamriel. It's the place that's like underground with like glowing seaweed almost from the ceiling. It's been so long. It's been, I can't remember the name of this place. I think it starts with black something, but discovering something like that, it's the diversity in those discoveries, much like you're seeing again with Elden Ring, where it's just like, where does this end? And you find out Elden Ring has like a base map and then an underground map that all interconnects. And it's just insane. It's overwhelming. It's unlike anything we've seen. So I think that's where Skyrim finds a lot of its revolutionary behaviors.
And the last point, the diversity in the play styles and truly, whether it be you truly are a magic user, you want to do destruction magic, you want to do restorative magic, the two-handed style, the one and the skill. It's just, man, they really let you play how you want to play, do what you want to do. And it's an amazing game. It's an achievement. And I think, to your point, the other games copied the icon thing and just said, "Oh, we got to do what Skyrim does. Just throw a bunch of icons." But like you said perfectly, Skyrim didn't really do that.
Yeah.
There's silhouettes, but you go find out, and then you explore and that kind of stuff. And I love it. And of course, my guilds, man.
The guilds,
the fighting guilds, the brotherhood, these guilds, the stories behind that. Like, I loved all that stuff, man. Dark stuff, and it was great. It was great.
Number 5 is the question that I think is going to split this show apart. Anthony GG writes in, "Hello, gents, long-time listener, first-time write-in. Matty, your damnation of eating boneless chicken wings with a fork has brought back a memory from college where my friends damned me for eating mac and cheese with a spoon. I was shook that they took umbrage with my choice of utensil, and it made me think of every other aspect of my life that I thought was normal and was now being questioned internally. So I ask, fork or spoon when it comes to mac and cheese for you two? How else would you scoop up the melted cheese? Fork ain't gonna cut it if you make it right. P.S. I also eat boneless wings with a fork. I'm not getting my hands dirty. Fuck that shit. I love that. I love that. I love that. That's not me putting that in there. We don't edit any writings. I know
that sound like you.
That does.
Wow.
Cog, fork, spoon.
It's gonna be controversial. Mac and cheese, bro.
Yeah.
What's the famous brands? Was it Velveeta and all that? What was the famous one? Kraft macaroni and cheese, blue box, yeah, bro. Patty, I don't know. This gonna fracture us. I think I know what you're about to do, and I don't know.
I don't even know what your answer is gonna be. I don't got a feeling.
I don't know what you gonna do, but bro, if you're not grabbing that mac and cheese.
Oh no!
Oh no! Daddy, no!
Why?
What?
Why are you using a fork?
Why are you using a fork? Bro, this is not custard. This is not ice cream. What are we doing? A proper gentleman grabs the fork and you get the individual kernels.
Oh no!
And you.
So, but like once your dish dwindles down to nothing, right? You got like 5 bits of macaroni left. You're telling me you're doing that individual 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You just like stab them up. Like, is that your way of doing things?
But here's the thing. I will give you this. This is where we meet in the middle.
When you eat with the fork, you gotta let me know first. When you eat with a fork, how are you? Are you stabbing down, or are you kind of coming upwards like a shovel?
It's a very cultured situation. Like you got your bowl. It's culture. It's culture, man.
You are scooping. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of. But remember, you're piercing the macaroni to make the contact.
We're making the same motion here.
Yeah, we're doing the same motion. The only thing I will give you where we can meet in the middle, is like I've been to people's houses, and like the prep will be the spoon. There'll be the big spoon inside the macaroni and cheese. You go over to the family house, they'll scoop you. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say, I have to take it back. I can't say it's crazy, but I've never, and I've never seen any gentlemen that I've had, any upstanding gentlemen, at the table after it's in the plate. Because here's the thing. All right, so let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So you only eat macaroni and cheese by itself?
Well, usually it's a side dish. No, actually, a little backstory here. When I was younger, any restaurant I went to, you could take me to a 5-star restaurant, mac and cheese was the order, to the point where my parents started to ban me from doing it. So I was always mac and cheese, always.
So if it's the side, let me add, this is the key question here now.
Okay.
If it's the side dish or the accompaniment thing to a meal on a plate, right? So if you have other things, you're going fork, then spoon? Like you're doing 2 because macaroni and cheese is there that the spoon is required?
Yeah, I switch up, bro. It's like an arsenal there. I'm switching it up. I lay down my fork once one thing's done or I'm ready to move on to the other. I spread the wealth. I don't finish like one part of my meal and then move on to the next. I'll like eat a little, say chicken, eat a little chicken. I'm like, okay, I had a little chicken. Now I'm going to move on to some mac and cheese. Oh, I want some more chicken. Bro, I'm a wild card out there.
Bro, like it's so wild to me. The only time the spoon gets picked up is if like that's the dessert joint. So I'm like, okay, we got the little,
right, just lick your spoon. It's clean.
I'm done with you.
That's a little savage. That's a little savage. I'll admit. I clean my own spoon to then use on the. Yeah, that's a little uncomfortable.
Follow up right up to the Dukes of the realm here. That's right there from last year. We gotta know because again, you expressed it perfectly. You were like, oh no, Cog. There's the fork, there's the spoon.
Mm-hmm.
That all of these have usage at my table. If mac and cheese is part of the overall dish, I need to know from the last stand, the spoon lovers of mac and cheese, the spoon scoopers.
Spoon scoopers, okay.
All right. If it's more than one thing with your macaroni and cheese, like I don't know, chicken, meat, whatever.
Sure.
Are you diversifying your utensils? Like that is wild to me. Wow.
Well, what mac and cheese are we talking about here? In my head, I'm thinking Kraft at this point, right? Yeah. I'm thinking like just the macaroni and the cheese. I'm not thinking like if you're having bread and mac and cheese, you're living life wrong. I hate to tell that to you. That's just the worst type. It's awful. It's like I don't want crumbs on this creamy food.
Oh my God, Matty, we're gonna lose all the Southern listeners now. This is over now. No. We have lost the Southern market now. Sorry, Matty. I love y'all.
Between my chicken wings and now this, man, I'm just...
and now this! Wow, this is a big deal, man.
This is.
I figured it was going to split us. I was like, nah, he can't.
I was thinking the same thing, but as we got deeper in the show, just something in me, I was like back and forth on it. I was like, this will split. No, it won't. No. So you eat mac and cheese with a fork.
With a fork.
Man, I'm going to order you some at PAX now. I'm just going to... just so I can watch.
Just so you can watch, watch my foolishness.
Yeah, just so I can just observe. I'm vegan. I can't do that now. So I can actually, I just had mac and cheese. Remember, I told you, I was telling you, I had that with a spoon. I was just scooping out of the platter.
This is epic. This is definitely, you called it. This was definitely one of our most divisive moments.
Yes, clearly. I'm curious to know what the write-ins will say. Hopefully I'm on the right side of history.
The writings.
I don't know how much more I can take it.
It was funny. What if I'm in the wrong and everybody's a sport?
I don't know, man. A lot of people are Team Cog.
But I need to know this, man. I'm learning each day. People, you see these Croc guys around here. You don't know what's going on.
That's true. We're united in Crocs, or against Crocs, yes. I should say.
For sure.
All right, let's move into gaming news here. Number 1. Microsoft and SEGA had announced in November 2021 that SEGA would be making use of the Azure cloud tech to power their new super game. The initiative is being led by former PlayStation exec Shuji Utsumi. Details have slowly trickled out about what exactly this super game is, such as last week when we learned that it would not just be one game, but in fact, multiple AAA video games. One of which SEGA has already said would be a first-person shooter that is currently being handled by their European studios. Now, thanks to a report from lordsofgaming.net and further corroborated by Bloomberg, we know what some of those games may end up beating, provided they are not canceled. Just put a little asterisk there. It is said that SEGA is developing big-budget reboots of cult classics Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi. The catch is that this super game initiative is due to SEGA's admiration of what Fortnite has been able to accomplish and their own dwindling revenue in the arcade space. They are turning towards their own video games now to do some of the heavy lifting. The reports state that the new Crazy Taxi reboot has been in the works for over a year, with the goal of it coming out within 2 to 3 years. For Defining Duke listeners, hearing these IP coming back may not be much of a surprise. In May of last year, we dove deep into the SEGA presentation, spotlighting their 5-year plan where they had made mention of utilizing past IP that are currently inactive. Aiden Walker writes in, saying, Dear Dukes of Dreamcast, Takashi Mochizuki of Bloomberg is reporting that SEGA has greenlit big-budget reboots of Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. It's happening. Do you all feel like you may have willed this into existence just a little bit? How important is it Xbox leverages its amicable relationship with SEGA to market these games, perhaps even getting them on Game Pass? Do you think these titles can find a modern audience, or will these alleged super game titles be burdened with some NFT nonsense if they are launched as free-to-play? Cheers, Aiden. It's funny. This was the year I ordered my Jet Set Radio T, and here we are talking about it. So maybe we did slightly will into existence. Cog, I want to give it to you, man. How are you feeling about the super game, the possible presence of microtransactions, NFTs? You know, Sega, I like the direction they're heading in. They seem like they didn't want to do it if it was going to jeopardize their creative vision, but they're a company. They need to be profitable. They're admiring Fortnite. They're looking at dwindling revenue on the arcade space. How do you feel about Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi coming back in today's day and age, in reboots, AAA development, in this new super game initiative?
I mean, I got to talk my talk, man. I mean, certain people told the Dukes, this is not about games. Certain people told the Dukes, Sega relationship is not about games. Not about games, y'all. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So, look, I'll be honest, right? We called this. We called this. I will give the naysayers this. Last week, when we was getting some news about Super Game, and I was hearing the NFT stuff, and I'm just like, oh boy, what we doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on, right? So that gave me a little trepidation, no doubt, right? But this is what I'm talking about. This is what me and you, we did one of my favorite Ultimates.
I love that
where
one.
we really broke down the internal slideshows, you know, everything that they were as a company discussing internally, how they valued themselves, the pie charts, the circles, the PowerPoints, and, you know, defining IPs and reimagining things and leveraging Azure for this kind of stuff is going to be great. I'm just happy to, honestly, when I saw Jet Set, I was like, yo, he's going to lose it. He's going to, because we were just talking about our frustration with the back of Pat and it not being part of it. Now we get a reimagining. Like, so for you, and I'm gonna be real with you, I'm a secret like Crazy Taxi stan. Like, I've always liked Crazy Taxi.
I never played it.
Yeah. Oh my! It's a goofy game, but I loved it. It was a dream. First of all, it's graphically phenomenal for its time because it was, like I said, think of like the racing style and from the sense of Outrun and stuff like that, but it really wasn't a racing. Like, you were literally a taxi cab driver. It's like Uber the game. Like, you were, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you literally pick people up. You had to go through obstacles. And what I remember about it, which was so cool for its time, the verticality and the declines and the hills, and it was doing things in the driving space in an open world. And it's like, yo, I gotta get there. I gotta beat all this traffic. I gotta do it. But it was like funny and goofy. The music was crazy. It was a silly, over the top, fun game, and I really like Crazy. It's gonna make me play. Another one I'm gonna fire up on this on the series. Yeah, a little man on for the X screen on this trip. But yo, listen, for Sega fans, this is a big deal.
It is,
and it could start a chain reaction. And I don't want to get too crazy, but if they start with these, it gives me hope when I saw that circle and I saw Shinobi on it.
Oh,
and you're getting Cog in his feels because
let's hear.
Like,
let's go.
Literally, my name is built off of that game. Cognito, Shinobi, the Ninja, Incog, all of that is built off Ninja. Like, that game got me into gaming. I bought that game. I have the arcade upright, the full thing. Like, I said, I'm gonna own. Like, bro, that was a dream. I went to that thing as I spent so much money as a kid. I said, I'm going to own that. And I found a Texas distributor, and he had it in Texas. And a big old truck with a crate came to my house in the Bronx. People were like, I was crazy. I have pictures with this game. I'll send it to you.
No
King,
way.
the whole crew. Yes, bro. Shinobi means everything to me. So you got the arcade, Revenge of Shinobi, Shinobi 3. That entire franchise is one of my favorites in gaming. And it pains me that they've done nothing with this iconic franchise. And to see that name on that list that I saw with these type of bro.
Yeah.
Super game. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. So where you at? I'm just happy for you, bro. Because
I'm happy for you because that makes me feel like there's potential for Shinobi.
Yeah, like, because I know how you felt. So tell me, because I sent you the info. I was like, oh, he ain't wake up yet. I'm gonna wait for him to wake up because I was like, he ain't messaged me back yet. I was like, let me see. Then you were like, oh,
yeah. When I hit someone with the capital, I'm likely making that sound in real life.
Yes, let's go.
Oh man, yeah, this was amazing to see. Obviously, we'll talk about the NFTs and stuff in a moment. I just need to get it out of my system though that Jet Set Radio not being on Back Compat hurts my soul because it's such a fun suggestion to see people get into that series. Like Jet Set Radio Future, you talked about like games that got you into gaming. That was in the dual pack with Forza GT from the original Xbox. I actually have it in the other room. I'll grab it while you're talking next. But that game, man, like I remember playing Forza and some things never change. I was just like, it's fine. Then I throw in Jet Set Radio Future, the cel-shaded art style, the music, understand the concept of love. And I'm just grinding around doing these sick tricks, doing graffiti. The game has a style, a flair, unlike anything you'll see. Man, that was like a moment of what the fuck is this as a kid that I will never get back, right? And I'll just say this. Maybe I'm more optimistic about this Jet Set Radio reboot, even in the face of like potential NFTs, potential microtransactions. The reason I am is because there's this game being developed by Team Reptile called Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. It has a lot of the original minds from Jet Set Radio, the original composer. This game is apparently coming out this year. It's got bikes, roller skates. I think it had skateboards at one point. So I'm just letting people know. This game looks like the thing you've been waiting for, like the modern take on the Jet Set formula. So for me, it's like there may be more coming with SEGA, the owners of Jet Set. But if it doesn't deliver, I'm not going to sell it to you like Bomb Rush is already a hit. But Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is in the building, and this game looks awesome. Please check it out. Again, it's called Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
I remember.
Yes.
I remember.
So that's why I'm pumped. It's like, it's certainly we can't fail twice. I don't know, crazier things have happened, but I'm a believer. I'm a little optimistic on that front. I don't want to fully judge Super Game's initiative until it's introduced to us.
Yeah.
Because they may, how do you think, let's start off here. How do you think they're going to do microtransactions if they're going to do them at all? Like I look at both these games and I'm like, you can't. I don't know how. What do you do for? Do you make Jet Set Radio a free to play game and you do time savers for like? That seems so against the formula. I mean, how do you introduce that to Crazy Taxi?
NFT, the NFT aspect probably. You mentioned the graffiti, the aspect. Oh, you create your own thing and you own this in the Jet Set verse. You know what I'm saying? Now, Taxi, I don't know what they're going to do with that. I mean, it's,
these are AAA level, right? That's the thing. It's not like a mobile game, whatever. Like they're going hard.
I mean, I don't know how that's the part we do got to pump the brakes a little bit and see what that is. I don't know. And then, is it going to be like, here's the other question, like the initiative is going to include these two. But are they standalone? Is Super Game, are they still individual titles? Are they part of some type of package? Is it like I'm curious in the way it's presented to us. How is it given to us? Like that. That's the
like
thing.
A subscription service almost in a way. Like if Super Game were a subscription service, this would make a lot more sense. Like here's what you get in the Sega subscription service. Because you saw what they're doing with Nintendo Switch Online. They're like, here's Genesis. Here's the games for Genesis. And one of their things in that 5-year plan we talked about was supporting subscriptions. And I'm wondering like if they made their own kind of package that they would then sell to like Xbox Game Pass now has Sega Super Game. And when you click on that, there's a library of games in there. Like I to me, that would make a lot more sense. It'd be kind of weird. It's like just go to Game Pass, I guess, but maybe they get a better cut if they have their own thing that they then bring to the platform. I don't know.
You're making it, it's a valid, point because we just seen them leverage some of their titles to Nintendo Online in a subscription form as a tier. So, it is interesting. Do they have, and remember, they've lost the arcade scene, which was their bread and butter.
Yeah.
So they may be trying to figure out a way to leverage that. And maybe that is another part of this initiative, which is like, yo, it's not just we're just going to redo these games. This is going to be the Sega Super Game service or initiative. You get in and it's part of this. That could be it too. It could very well be that as well. Either way, I don't care what they're doing. I'm in. I don't care. Like, I'm sorry. This is where my fandom gonna get me in trouble. I don't care. This is my heart. I've been wanting these games for years. And to see them reimagine, as long as they pay the proper respect and reverence and it's not overtly crazy and money grabby, I'm in. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm wondering too about other series. They help publish Persona, Sonic.
Yeah.
How are the what's the point of Super Game if you're launching it with brand new classics people have wanted for a while, but you're not doing them in the way that people would expect them to come back in, right?
Remember when we read the docs, the initiative was like to revitalize long lost IPs to gain interest. So it's like, I think that is the plan. Like you bring the old joints back, slap a little coat of paint or whatever they do, right? Then it's like, oh, wow, they really love these ones. Now we can do Jet Set, whatever, with a 3 on it or for whatever the number or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because they've generated that interest. I think what they're planning to do is reintroduce what made Sega, right? Get the love back. Get the, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what remasters do. Let's be honest. They're interest gaugers. That's what they are. They're like, yo, we know you like Dead Space. We thinking about a new Dead Space, but we don't got the bread to fund that. Let's give you the old one back, see how you do, and then generate that interest there. Same thing. Remember, Mass Effect just did the trilogy, right? Generate, the new Mass Effect's coming. It's an interest generator, and to see how much people want stuff before they actually invest. And I think this is one of their ways they plan on doing it.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was just checking now to see if House of the Dead, which just got a remake, was published by Sega, and it's not. It's published by Forever Entertainment. And I think that was one of the things that made Sega. Like House of the Dead was like an iconic game on the Dreamcast, right? I used to play that shit all the time.
Oh yeah.
So I'm fascinated by what this is, and I don't know how they're gonna try to nickel and dime people, because that's the thing is at the core, Super Game. You take the games out of the equation that we're excited for. Like Super Game is their modern gaming solution to the dwindling arcade scene in Japan. It's like, how do we get money, recurrent revenue? And it's like, okay, well, I think you're probably on the money. These games don't scream microtransactions to me. They scream more NFTs. Like they're artistic enough to be like, here's this thing you can earn by playing. Yeah. But they're full on AAA games. Because we saw Stalker 2 was about to do something like that. So I imagine the implementation is pretty simple. Like it was just like, oh, let's do this. This sounds great.
Yeah, and they're definitely concerned about it because you can tell the person's mentioned it. Like, we got to be how we utilize the NFT and how we want to be conscious, respectful of the game. They know it could be blowback if they get too crazy. Yeah, but I found that portfolio that we did for the Ultimate. Nice. Strategy 1, making existing IPs into global brand. That's their strategy for 3 years, and then those are the major 5 that we saw: the Fantasy Star Online, Yakuza, the Total War, Persona 5. But the Super Game strategy. This is for 5 years. Creation of titles which can be expanded globally, and that's for low profitability and expansion of past IP, utilization of past IP. Support subscription is literally written there. Support subscription. So I think this may be the new route. Unless what if they're a tier in Game Pass? I mean, the Super Game tier.
I mean, dude, maybe get a cut of that Game Pass money. It's a lot of subscribers,
and they love Game Pass. Could be that tier. Now the Sega games in it. Like all I'm saying is, people were saying to me, just because Sega said it's not about games, so it's not. Bro, it's about games. Like, this is about games. This is not just we're going to use it. Like, they're going to leverage that. There's going to be some level, in my opinion, of kickback relationship where they may not be exclusive, but they may launch day and date directly into their service or be like a tier of it. And it would be interesting to see.
It will be. I'm really like I won't say excited, but I'm really, really keen to get like our first official details on this. And like, when they announce it, do they announce Jet Set Radio remake? We'll say, or do they announce Jet Set Radio remake as a part of Super Game and say like, okay, here's the game, here's what it's a part of, or here's like this thing it's being built by. Like that's the thing. It's this obscure terminology that we've never heard of before that I don't want to hype up because I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. But what does this coined term super game actually mean when we have the product in front of us?
It could maybe because of the locals and the translation, maybe it's their version of like their EA Play or their, you know what I'm saying? Like service, Ubisoft that they want to do. And they're utilizing Microsoft as that backbone because they want a piece of the subscription cut. They want to celebrate these games and get profit off of this immense library of iconic titles that they're sitting on that they can try to do something with and now have a service for people to go strictly for their IPs and whatever the new stuff they got cooking.
Yeah. I feel like that's got to be it. It's got to be a service they're making.
Yeah, that's what it feels like now.
Yeah. All right, well, that's what's going on with SEGA. Let's move on to number 2. Quick update here. In January, Wall Street Journal had reported that as soon as the deal with Activision and Xbox is done, that Bobby Kotick is out. However, according to the newly added line to Activision Blizzard's 8K filing, the company claims there haven't been any discussions about the future of this man when the deal is closed. Quote, no discussions or negotiations regarding post-closing employment arrangements with Microsoft occurred between Microsoft and Mr. Kotick prior to the approval and execution of the merger agreement, and the transactions contemplated thereby or have occurred subsequent to the approval and execution through the date hereof. End quote. It's a fancy way of saying that they haven't talked about Bobby Kotick's future. How do you feel about this one? Like, which side do you believe on this? The reports, man, or what's in the fine print?
I don't know what's going to happen. All my prediction is, look, when you are the CEOs of these big corps, as much as people don't want to hear this and they hate it, people hate the terminology of golden parachute. That's the way business is set up. These guys are going to get they're going to get their bag and they're going to go off in the sunset. And I just think that right now, we're still parsing through the legalese. Shout out to Hogue Law and all that. I just think if people think that there's going to be some way that this man is not going to get a bag and this man is going to be completely vilified, I think they're going to be disappointed. So that's what I'm preparing for. I'm preparing myself for the worst. The company will be in better hands if the deal goes through, which I expect it to.
Yeah.
But this guy is going to get a bag. It's just the way big corp is set up, and it's unfortunate, but that's just reality to me.
I think he's out no matter what. I think you can't proceed with him in the building. I think the way, again, Phil says they're going to report to me kind of just pushes him or anyone who fills those shoes to the side completely. I don't think that's really a concern at all. And I'm much like you. It's just like, look, if that's the price you got to pay to get this guy the hell out of there, then so be it.
That's what it is.
Give him the money, let him fucking walk. Who cares? Just as long as he's out of there, because clearly the culture he's created is far reaching enough that we just talked last week that there was influence with the governor of California. That's insane.
In pocket.
Yeah, dude, literally. Just get that man out of there straight up, like at all costs. And I think they understand that. They're going to do that. I don't believe that this conversation hasn't happened. It's just probably not written down that it's actually happened. Right? I'm pretty sure it's a gentleman's agreement, if you will, which we use a lot here at Last Stand.
Yes, gentleman's agreement. I like that.
Just a quick update there. Number 3, we'll have much more to say on. It was only last week that Xbox fans were snuggled up in bed dreaming of a partnership between Hideo Kojima and Xbox coming to fruition. For about a moment, many felt that was threatened. In an updated image on the PlayStation Studios banner, Death Stranding was suddenly added to the mix, thus driving speculation that PlayStation had leaked their own acquisition again, much like they had with Bluepoint. Hideo Kojima himself further added, I put flames to the fire here. I meant to write fuel to the fire by posting an image on his Japanese Twitter account with the aforementioned banner and a PlayStation Studios logo. A couple hours later, he took to Twitter and said, "I'm sorry for the misunderstanding, but Kojima Productions has been and will continue to be an independent studio." Cog, what's your read on this? This was like a whiplash thing. You're like, I saw it. I'm like, yeah, it's a done deal. Like right when I saw the image posted, I'm like, yeah, it's happening. Then he goes 2 hours later, I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. I'm like, bro, what are you misunderstanding? What? We didn't misunderstand anything. Like we knew what you were saying there. So do you think there's movement, or do you think he was just trolling, having a good time?
I watched your video and I'm in agreement with you on this one, man. Like, look, I know a lot of Xbox fans don't want to hear it, but it's like there are similarities to the Blue Point situation. There are. And it's just like it's a weird mistake to make. You know what I'm saying? Now I get it. People are like, yo, Sony owns that IP. They can do that. And it could be as simple as that. But I guess what threw me off was him retweeting it.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing if Sony did it and then Sony, whatever, but him. So I'm like, but look, shout out to Grub. He brought out the information as far as he know, just as long as a week to 2 weeks ago, that he heard everything that the Xbox letter to intent is still on. So I was concerned because I did see Kojima. If you look at his timeline, he up in Sony buildings, PlayStation pictures. I'm like, oh no, my prediction is a wrap. Like I'm like, this is looking spooky for me. And I was like, yeah, a couple of my guys like, yeah, there's your boy. Well, I don't know if he intent to do anything with Xbox.
Yeah.
But yeah, I listen, I do think Grubb's reporting is still spot on this, and I don't think that has changed. I will say this though, if it does happen, and it is Kojima Productions saying what they're saying now, and then they get acquired, it will be interesting to see what happens.
Yes.
With, said game if Sony's in control, PlayStation is in control.
Yeah, because we haven't really seen them in that position. If we're going off of what Xbox did, they have honored the agreements so far with Bethesda and with Activision. The plan now is to do that. I don't know if I fully bought in that was the initial plan until they started feeling everyone snooping around. They're like, oh, we need to not be so aggressive with this one. But with Hideo being bought by PlayStation, or Kojima Productions, not Hideo himself, but his studio being purchased by PlayStation, I think this would not be too much of a shock to anybody because they literally helped him build the team after he left Konami. Like, I thought he was, for a while, this first-party studio when it was initially announced, because they sat there in a video like, we're teaming up, we're partnering to bring this new studio in, this brand new game. And Hideo was sitting there. I think it was Andrew House was in the video. So it was that era
I remember
PlayStation,
it.
right? Like,
and they had the BB and they had the thing, and it was a event. Continue.
Yeah, and I just feel like that just doesn't, even if there's new leadership at PlayStation, I don't feel like that just goes away. And you're just like, oh yeah, Kojima, that era, that was great, huh? Like, I feel like with the Metal Gear Solid era, the partnership with PlayStation even then, this wouldn't be too surprising. That's why you and I were pretty gassed on the idea of like, yo, he's gonna make an Xbox game at some point. That's crazy. I'm not even a big fan of Kojima games. It's just like the fact that he's gonna make one is insane.
It's insane, and it's a statement. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm with you on all your reasoning. Like literally the same thing. That's why I'm not willing to close the door on it just because he made that statement saying that, because I seen when Blue Point out, we're independent. 2 months later.
Yep.
Then you see the welcome Herman House. Welcome such a house for Blue Point.
Yep.
Welcome House Mark.
Yep.
So I'm not all the way there yet.
I'm not either.
We'll see.
I don't want to say I don't buy it as in like it's definitely going to happen, but I'm very skeptical of, bro, he put out the image, no text, just the image with the PlayStation Studios logo in the middle and then Death Stranding on left. I'm like, bro, what do you think after all that reported? What do you like? Oh, sorry for the misunderstanding. I'm like, what do you mean?
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
so
Like,
clear. Now,
like
I know sometimes with the PlayStation Studios thing, it's like it's a branding confusion thing, because I know they use that sometimes for like their second party stuff, right? Like they'll just use it when they're doing exclusives. It's like I cross over between a number of things. So I get it's not like when we see Xbox first party studios, we know what that is versus Xbox Game Studios publishing. We know that's third party. There's a difference here for PlayStation, or rather lack thereof. So I can understand that being a little confusing, but him posting it, I was just like, why?
It's your Twitter account, your Japanese account, then your American account, you correct it.
Yeah.
I ain't all the way behind it. We'll see. We'll see.
You know what's interesting is watching, we know Microsoft's probably done for the year on acquisitions. Watching PlayStation be just mauled in rumors of acquisitions, right? Like I saw FromSoft today was the next one. Like FromSoft, they're like, yeah, they're lined up to acquire them. I'm like, if I'm FromSoft, I'm not fucking selling to anyone right now because, dude, Elden Ring sold over 12 million copies. Like, dude, why are you going to go make a game for a specific audience now?
But if the bag is what the bag is,
yes,
it sounds nice, but your financial security, but I understand it's a bet on yourself because you're the hottest thing right now. And to your point,
consistent,
like you're the hottest, like
scary
everyone
consistent.
wants you. Yeah, and you're consistent, so I can see it. Some people cash out though. Some people do cash out. Like
I wouldn't blame them.
Yeah, we'll see. But I agree. I just think that PlayStation is going to cook up and acquire something big. We just try to narrow it down. You hear different rumors. So I wasn't surprised if it was the Kojima Productions, and I was like, oh, that could make sense. I could see that.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But I think PlayStation is definitely got something cooking very big, and Xbox is just everything is wait and see until this Activision deal is closed, and they're just micro focused, razor focused on that right now. They're completely occupied with that.
As they should be. I think locking that down will be key to their future. Lee Doherty writes in on this topic saying, hey, Dukes, you mentioned last week the possible incoming Kojima Xbox game. I wondered what you think this game will be if it ever becomes a reality. What genre are you thinking? Stealth, walking sim, or something entirely new for Hideo? Thanks as always, Dukes, and have a I need to try Death Stranding kind of day.
Yeah, no.
Not until Game Pass.
Nah, not the Game Pass, bro. Sorry. Just wasn't, I was team money on that one.
Yeah.
I was like,
it changes from game to game.
It changes, yeah. I was like, nope, you ain't getting that, not for me. Looks pretty, though. Looks pretty, but you put babies in a thing and I'm supposed to, no. Anyway, I would say stealth would be nice. I love me some stealth. I love me that. I don't know how willing he'd be willing to go back after Metal Gear. Maybe he's kind of burnt out of stealth. Look, all I know, I got to give this man this. His games do look gorgeous.
Yeah.
His games look gorgeous. These are some really pretty looking games. So as long as it's, high fidelity, that's my new thing with Xbox. I need it to look like there's some teraflops popping off in the system. You can see the flops. So that, and I am excited for how eccentric he is and how crazy he could get with cloud. I think he might be the guy that could use cloud. Remember, we used the power of the cloud. When the cloud, remember when it first came out? But the cloud's gonna do all this. We saw Crackdown demos that didn't exist. It's neither here nor there. But I think he is the type of guy that will find a way. I'll give him this. And we'd be like, yo, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because he's flirting. He flirted with Stranding and the strands and the things you can leave in the world. And I think he's the guy to figure it out. And then maybe he sets off a trend where people are like, there you go. That's the new thing. But that's it. I don't got too many specific demands from it. As long as it looks good. That's where I'm at. You?
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
No, I was just genuinely thinking because obviously it's tough to point out like what game he would make. It could be anything, but I'm going based off what Kim Swift was saying with what cloud gaming would do for people working with Xbox. And I know she mentioned AI, and I was like, well, then you can make a really dynamic stealth game. I feel like with that kind of emergent AI that they were talking about, that could be like creating unique behaviors. That could be something that Metal Gear Solid 5 really prided itself on, right? The reactive AI where if you shot enough people in the head, you'd come into a mission and they would have a helmet on, or if you like attacked them at night too often, they would have flashlights and light posts set up. So the world was changing, kind of taking that the next step forward. I could see that being something that he does, but what we've seen so far with cloud, again, we go to Crackdown 3 with Destruction, and you go to Microsoft Flight Simulator with its world. And I was thinking like a Death Stranding kind of open world game, but using the cloud computing to build something more akin to our real world. I guess. I know Death Stranding is apparently set in America or some shit, but it looks like the Netherlands or whatever. Yeah, some shit.
Your disdain was hilarious. Yeah,
I don't know. I can't act like I know. Talk to me about Bethesda stuff. I don't know.
Continue.
But I feel like maybe he could. I could see him doing an open world game. Is what I'm trying to say. I could see him doing something along those lines. I just want gameplay in it, man, because that was the one thing that kept me away from Death Stranding. Is when I looked at it, I was like, dude, I'm not looking for a therapy session here. Like, I want to play some video games.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm not carrying boxes across valleys.
Yeah, walking with my thoughts, going through it. So, no,
it's too much.
Yeah. Thank you for writing in, Lee.
Yes.
Let's move on to number 4. According to a report by Business Insider, Microsoft is toying with the idea of implementing advertisements such as billboards of real products in their free-to-play games. Quote, one of the sources speculated Microsoft isn't currently interested in collecting a cut of ad revenue because it wants to provide more money-making opportunities to developers who make free-to-play games. It's moving cautiously and intends to create a private marketplace where only select brands can insert ads into games in a way that doesn't disrupt the gameplay experience. This was from 2 sources of Business Insider. They were also unable to learn if Xbox was also offering other types of in-game ad units like avatar skins or video ads that play in gaming lobbies. Insider was also unable to determine if Microsoft has pitched the Xbox offer to advertisers yet. End quote. I don't like this at all, bro, because you know what this reminds me of? When I go to pump my gas. And they get this little fucking monitor that plays advertisements. And I'm like, bro, I just want to pump my gas and you're trying to sell me something. I say this all the time. I put in my AirPods. I turn my back. I refuse to look, bro. That's some dystopian shit that you're trying to give me a monitor with an advertisement at a gas station. So to me, this gives me all the gas station energy. I'm not about this. Where are you at with what Microsoft's toying with right now? I say no. We saw EA do this with UFC, with the real world advertisements. I think NBA's doing this. Like, no, man. I play games sometimes to get out of that business. I don't want the real world stuff.
Man, you're going to be a very disappointed boy when this game is going. I'm telling you, man, the things I see behind the scenes, and I'm just like, it's very aggressive. Now I don't know if that is all of Microsoft's intent, and I did hear, obviously, that they're free to play only. I know that they are cognizant that it is going to be a lot of pushback. It is extremely aggressive. Mm-hmm. They got to be careful. I'm with you. They have to be very careful. If this is not, people are already upset when you launch this Xbox console and you have advertisements on the dashboard. And it takes up real estate and stuff like that. And sadly, big business, man, corporations going to corporate. They're going to figure out a way. So
yeah,
I think it's Thanos. I am inevitable. This is inevitable. This is where it's going. Super Game talk about NFTs. Microsoft, everyone's going to get their cut somehow. The question is how egregious, like you said, none of that UFC stuff and skins and you know what I mean? Like we got to see. I don't know what to say. It's not anything that I have sensibilities towards. I understand why they're there, but I align with you. If in a perfect world, I really don't care to see none of this stuff. It's not for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I understand corporations go corporate.
Indeed, in a perfect world.
Yes.
I hate that it's got to be wishful thinking, but
I know.
Fingers crossed. All right.
We'll see.
Number 5. Halo Infinite Season 2's first look is here. You can check out the Catalyst and Breaker maps along with King of the Hill and the Last Spartan Standing modes. We also got brand new details on Tatanka via the Halo Infinite leaks on Discord. So this comes through Forbes, where they write that there's a respawn in a drop pod setting and respawn tokens, which are similar to callbacks in Apex Legends. There's also a sudden death setting, indicating that at a certain point, there will probably be no more respawns regardless of said tokens. The shrinking circle mechanic appears to be called the containment zone. Also, there is a bleed out and execution mechanic similar to Apex or Warzone, as well as most battle royales. And finally, there's a whole section that corresponds with a number of callouts that were previously data mined, different kinds of operations on the map that can be seen like war zone contracts. I guess that's a thing in there, to go somewhere and do a thing. They are capture, supply run, destroy, and hoard operations, where most of those are probably somewhat self-explanatory, and they are likely to reward loot and XP. Cog, how do you feel about what you've seen for season 2 and the Tatanka League? You were messaging me about it this week.
Yeah, we talked about it on ILP as far as the leak. As far as the Wolves joint, it's kind of light, bap here, whatever. I'm gonna jump in. This is not gonna do anything major, needle moving as far as I'm concerned, but I do want to jump in, see what's going on, gameplay and the map, stuff like that. But Tatanka's what's got me excited, and the conversation we had is like, how do they do it where it's gonna satisfy a base? Because there's a big controversy right now, man. I don't know if you know, but people there's a vocal minority who are very anti this. And, I'm just of the mindset that, look, I get it. I love arena shooters. I want that. But this young generation, they play these battle royales. And there's a whole audience that would never play that arena thing. And you can't limit yourself to that. To me, the only thing I concern myself with is I want to know the player count. How big is the scale of it? The vibe I got is that they're putting their spin on it. It's not going to be just battle royal 1-to-1. It almost feels like a hybrid Warzone with battle royale, with the shrinking thing, with objectives involved on it. I like this little bleed out thing. They got little things, and I like execution mechanics. There's executions, thank you. So I think it's got a lot of potential here. And then I don't know if you saw a lot of those other data mine stuff, squads, quads, solo. So you got a lot of party potential, a lot of streaming potential, a lot of people that's what these streamers do. They love this stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I never really hate battle royale. If it's the genre I like, I'm willing to give this a shot. And Certain Affinity track record is really strong. So it's got to be good. If it's fun and it's good, this is gonna pop. So what do you think, man?
Yeah, I really like the idea of a battle royale in Halo. I do. I just wish that I hope that they establish more of the core of what makes Halo Halo before moving on to this. I am all for it. I think the way the industry has evolved and the way Halo's always been, the kind of sandboxing nature of it, the dynamic gameplay moments, even in Infinite, kind of call Battle Royale's name to the game. So I want them to put it in there. I just hope they finish the job, right? I'm talking the co-op, Forge, get a couple more Halo-centric modes and maps in there. And then I'm all about this new Battle Royale. Last Spartan Standing sounds cool because it's kind of like their own search and destroy type of thing, if you will, in Halo. I like that stuff. But to me, I just want them to finish the job, right? Don't establish the base, because when you're bringing these new players in, yeah, maybe they'll play and enjoy the new wave, but you'll have the Halo experience there, and maybe they'll fall in love with it like my generation did, growing up with it. Like, that's huge. I think you got to establish what makes Halo Halo, right? We always said Halo was in a really strong position when they were making their game and going to Battle Royale rather than bringing Battle Royale to them, right? So I think they need to create it from a position of strength. That's my main point here. Otherwise, I'm kind of like you. Season 2, I saw it. I went, man, nothing could have delivered after this long of a wait. But just when you see it's real, they're like, we're bringing 2 maps, 2 modes. I'm like, oh, fuck. Well, I'll see you for probably a night or two, and then I'm out again. I'm bouncing. But,
exactly.
I want to hang around more, but this is the kind of the loop with a lot of these service games is, I just gotta wait till the content's there, hope I'm not distracted by something else when the time comes, and then I'll grace it with my presence once more.
Fair enough.
We got a write in from Sam Lee about Halo that I really liked. Hello, fellows. In a previous episode, Matty mentioned that he was tired of playing to the same maps on Halo Infinite. Why is that? Back in the PS2 Xbox era, multiplayer shooters came with a fixed amount of maps, and I'm pretty sure we all enjoyed them for months on end. Has the modern multiplayer experience changed or our expectations, or does the problem lie with the map designs? I thought this was a great write-in, because I think of something like Battlefront 2. These were multiplayer games. Funny enough, all these are pandemic games I'm about to mention, but also Lord of the Rings Conquest. Like, I replayed these games a ton, man, over and over and over. Halo, of course, growing up. I think it's a product of two things, right? In the case of like Star Wars and all these IP they're using, it's like being in the world makes it where like revisiting Geonosis is like, hell yeah. I also think part of it's like I was young. So I think when you're going through those repetitive cycles, there are games that I go back to now, especially for Retro Rebound, that I loved. And I go in there, I'm like, oh, man, this is something I just really turned a blind eye to and just didn't care. Especially, I think Kingdom Hearts, the story in 2, like I remember as a kid, I loved it. Just like now I look at it, I'm like, man, I don't even know what's happening. And I think I've gotten a little wiser with age. So I think it's just the ability that like we have as kids to just enjoy the simple things and just leave it at that. I do think it's fair to suggest, though, that modern multiplayer experience has created a demand for more content output, would you say?
Yeah, I think you said it beautifully. I just think the expectation has changed. The bar has been raised. So it's like at that time, it was great for what it was at that time. But then as you start to see other games and they add more and it's more replay values, more maps, there's more features, then you look back and you go and you're like, man, we were happy with just the 3 or 4 maps. Like we thought it was a day. Like it goes to show you. So it's just the evolution of gaming. And once expectation is raised, people want it. So I think that's what it is. And I think in this day and age, it's not just the amount of maps, it's just the fact that they didn't have more. And now we're getting 1 or 2 in what is it, 3-4 months it's been?
Yeah.
That's in this the expectation of in this climate is unacceptable in live service terms. It's just not that your competition is just completely lapping you as far as the amount of content that comes out. And I get it from a foundational standpoint, things evolved and it will get better, but it's just their cadence. They just weren't able to prove that they can, keep up with the modern expectation.
It's the most dangerous genre to get into nowadays, I think, is you can just, as you said, you can get lapped real fast.
Oh yeah.
Number 6, Amy Hennig's Skydance Studio is now working on a Star Wars game. It was only revealed in October of 2021 that the young studio, which has yet to release a game but was founded in 2019, would be working on something for Marvel. According to the blog on Lucasfilm's own website, Skydance will be creating a narratively driven action-adventure game. Afterwards, DualShocker reports via account NGT, the newest leaker on the market, that this Star Wars game is the revival of Projekt Ragtag from Visceral Games, which was closed down in 2017, and the game canceled at EA Vancouver in 2019. The game is reported to be based on the Rebel Alliance era, set right before Episode 5. Cog, how do you feel? And by the way, this post here from Lucasfilm also mentioned this Marvel game that they announced. So they like Amy Hennig. They like her studio. And I want to give her like a round of applause. Like, think about that. Think about your credibility to not only net 1, but 2 of the biggest IP on the planet for your brand new studio that has not released a game. But like, I imagine just on namesake alone, like your portfolio, your leadership, that had to play a huge factor here in being like, yeah, we want you making these games for us. But it also, I got to respect Lucasfilm here. They didn't let go of Projekt Ragtag.
Yeah.
They didn't let go, if this report's to be believed. That if that's true, that's really cool to see. Like, we talked a bit about Scalebound being revived. Like, thought that might be isolated, but it looks like we may see another revival. I could go on because I love Star Wars, but Cog, want to dish it to you right away, man. How are you feeling about Skydance Studio and what they're doing moving forward?
Very happy for her. Very happy for Amy. We know the history, right? And what happened and stuff like that. And I was just curious to see how she, lands, especially after the whole, the Last of Us situation and all that. So she's a pioneer for me. Like, I remember people, my hardcore OGs remember this term, Faye Victus. And that is from the OG Legacy of Kain. I never played a game like that. It was the first game I ever played that had it was PlayStation 1. That's why I love PlayStation 1 so much. Like that game, you were the villain, and it was just outstanding narration, and man, that thing, it was dark. It was, and then obviously you see what it evolved. That's Amy, like that. That's like, so I got a connection to a lot of her titles and what she's done in the industry. She's definitely a bucket list person I would love to interview. Definitely have her on Dukes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Yeah. Like Amy is a legend. I got so many questions for her, but Yeah, this is cool to see. Marvel property, Star Wars property. Like, let's go. Let's go. I am super pumped to see what they come up with.
Same here. Really excited about it, especially Project Ragtag. Like, that was kind of the open world action adventure Star Wars game we've been looking for. I always get pissed off about visceral games, man. Like the fact they got done so dirty. Like EA was in this mood. They're like anti-single player. They shut down one of the best studios that to ever exist, with Dead Space being their baby, and then only to give Dead Space over to EA Motive years later. Not even EA Motive slander here. Just give them the IP like just a couple years later and go like, oh shit, like, hey, Jedi Fallen Order was pretty fucking good, wasn't it? Like we should not do this. Like, it's just crazy to see how mismanaged that whole situation was. But happy to know that it may live on through Skydance, through Amy, and it's a reminder again to Xbox. Get in on Star Wars if you can. Yeah. Get in on Marvel. Get in on DC. Get in on something, please.
Pop culture's kind of popping in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about DC in a moment. First, CD Projekt Red, they held an investors' financial call this week, which revealed more on the future of Cyberpunk, The Witcher, and other unannounced projects coming from the newly acquired team, the Molasses Flood. For starters, their current IP are booming, with Cyberpunk 2077 coming in at 18 million sales thus far. 14 million around the launch, by the way. So you gotta scale that out. So.
Scale that.
And then the Witcher series has a staggering total of 60 million units sold, 40 million of those hailing from specifically 2015's The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. There were charts shown that revealed what their teams were working on, and originally it displayed that the team for Cyberpunk 2077 and its expansion was shrinking in favor of the newly announced Unreal Engine 5 Witcher game. However, CD Projekt Red has since corrected that, saying that most of the team is working on Cyberpunk as it stands. With that, they confirmed that the new expansion is in the works with a new storyline, but don't expect it soon. It has been stated that while other DLC may arrive in 2022, Cyberpunk 2077's first expansion won't land until sometime in 2023. This would place it over 2 years from the game's original launch and just 1 from the next-gen relaunch. Meanwhile, The Witcher 3's next-gen update was pushed out of the initial Q2 2022 release as they took the project from Saber Interactive. CD Projekt Red is claiming that the project is not in development hell. I can actually corroborate that, by the way, because I was told that the studio handling this next-gen version of The Witcher for Saber Interactive was in St. Petersburg, and it was an impact from the war with Ukraine where they had to move the project on. So I know it's probably hard to believe CD Projekt Red, but that is why they took it in-house. It to me, initially, as we talked about last week, it seemed kind of fishy why like they had actually taken it from them when Saber Interactive has been competent for them in the past. But my read on the situation was incorrect, that they just wanted to be very safe. It's due to the war in Ukraine is what I was told. So just wanted to update everyone on that.
Good catch.
Cog, what are we feeling about Cyberpunk and its future mainly here, right? Obviously, The Witcher is thriving. We know that the Molasses Flood is working on, I didn't write it here, I apologize, but they're working on a project that is unannounced for a IP that CD Projekt Red owns. So it's either Cyberpunk or The Witcher. But we know The Witcher's thriving. There's going to be a gap, kind of like the Elder Scrolls 6 moment here for The Witcher 5, where it's going to be a while. We'll see you when we see you. So I just want to get your thoughts collectively on where Cyberpunk's at as a series, the 2023 expansion, this unannounced project from the Molasses Flood. Is it Cyberpunk? Is it The Witcher? How do you feel about everything's going on here for CD Projekt Red?
Yeah, I think that clearly the investment, in my opinion, with Cyberpunk is still ongoing. This is not going to go away. And it's funny because I used to laugh at them. I was like, you need to get yourself a Game Pass. And, you know, they definitely still are going to invest heavy in this. And we know The Witcher's coming. We know the announcement. I'm not too surprised by this news. I mean, just with the clarification that you gave, though, with the whole, you know, what happened with Saber, because I was curious about that. And that makes perfect sense, you know, as far as what's going on in the world with Ukraine right now. So, yeah, actually, this news, I guess I was surprised that they felt the need. I mean, it was an investment call, I get that, but they felt the need to kind of like say a lot of stuff publicly. So maybe people were questioning maybe, you know, the future and the health and the long-term ramifications. They're like, nope, we're good. We're still doing this. We're still doing that. So that's kind of what I get out of it.
Yeah. I thought it was just so strange when I saw the chart that it was a multitude of color bars for those who haven't seen it. And each color would represent the project. So there's like a cyberpunk bar, there was a Witcher bar, a molasses flood project bar. And you saw the cyberpunk one was really big on its launch, and each window for the quarter, it shrunk more and more as the Witcher one grew more and more. And I saw that and I was like, I said in my video, I'm like, well, this tells us this is the tale of the tape, right? It's like, this is what's happening here. They're moving on. Like, it was that bad for them. They just want to get on to the next chapter. And then they come out and they correct it. I'm like, this is an investor's financial call. Like, they're like, oh, we didn't see this. I'm like, how? Part of my hesitation to fully buy in, but that's like a pretty big thing to overlook, that you're telling the people who are investing in you, who are clearly more concerned about the future than the now, given the status of your company, and you fucked up what you're doing in the future on the chart that specifies that. I don't know. And I was particularly bothered because a lot of people were calling, not just myself, but some YouTubers liars about this. And I'm like, we reported exactly what was there, man. I corrected it, but I'm like, we reported right what was there. It was weird, not like en masse, but like, there were people being loud on Twitter. But my point being is, I find that a little fishy, but otherwise,
I'm buying it.
Yeah, I buy it, but I'm also like, I feel like you can't abandon Cyberpunk. There's too much potential, and you've seen what happens with The Witcher. If you hang with something for a while, what it can do. Like, people will be willing to forget. I just think with 2023 being the expansion, that's a long time from the original launch.
Long time.
Does it matter though if everyone's hopping in now with the next gen update? Is it really 1 year? Because for people like me, it's been, and many others, it'll be 2.5 by the time the expansion rolls around. Is it just a small? I guess it can't be a small group of us since most of their sales came in the beginning. But do you think it's as consequential? Do you feel the same?
It's a good question, man. It's one of those situations where has the reputation been so sullied that people just like, nah, I'm good. I don't care what you do, kind of thing. Or do they have that, rise from the ashes Phoenix moment, like a No Man's Sky? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for them with Cyberpunk, to be honest. Now, I know when that new Witcher announced, people gonna forget all the bad will then. Everybody likes some Geralt of Rivia now.
It's so funny because it's the same dichotomy with the sci-fi and fantasy, where with Bethesda, everyone thinks like Fallout's kind of the like, whatever. And like when it's Elder Scrolls, they really cradle it. They're like, we're going to take great care of you. We got you covered. It's the same thing now with CD Projekt Red. Like Cyberpunk is like, we fucked up. Oh, shit. Okay, well, The Witcher, though, we're going to take our time. We're going to partner with Epic. This is a brand new Unreal Engine 5 project. 5. Yeah, right? Just It's funny to see how things turn out.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's move on to number 8. According to Variety, Warner Bros. Discovery is looking to bolster DC's gaming output in an attempt to overhaul the brand's media presence. It was just a very quick report, but more on the superhero front. Right now, they've got Suicide Squad, you've got Gotham Knights, and then you have Wonder Woman. And obviously, Wonder Woman's easy to forget. And these games have been in development for a while. Warner Bros. Output on games has been mighty slow. So, Cog, I want to know, how do you feel about them identifying, like, we got to get the ball rolling here? Like, this is not doing it here.
Yeah. Discovery wants to discover the cash. Discover likes to discover cat. Microsoft.
Yeah.
If there's any way. I know you tried. I heard there were talks. I know the block's hot, so just keep the line warm. Just do some check-ins. Periodically. Hey, they go right over there. Okay.
Just making sure that Wonder Woman's doing right and fine.
Yeah, maybe set up some little Game Pass deals, little Wonder Woman, or set up a little Game Pass deal, little Gotham Knights. Play
Gotham
nice.
Knights, man.
That's the one. Like, get them a little day and day. We got a bag. We got here's our projections for you.
I'm so excited for Gotham Knights too, man. Like, that's the thing. They have yet to get a game for me that I'm like, I'm really excited for this one. And you got it on Game Pass. Like, I have yet to have that, right?
I know.
And Gotham Knights, bro. That's co-op.
Yeah, co-op in a post Batman, non-Batman future, so to speak. You've got all these other characters that have dope stories about that could actually shine. I liked how it showed initially from way back when I think they had like Dr. Freeze at the end of a level and stuff like that. It looked cool. Like, I'm in co-op. I'm in.
Yeah.
So give me my Darkwing, whoever, Red, whatever. I'm in. So yes, that's the one I would like.
Yeah.
I think you got to keep kicking the tires and get them when they're weak. Discovery wants money.
Yeah. They do.
But the key is the IPs. And that could be the holdup. Because if they're not giving up the IPs.
Yeah. But even, they have too much there that's just resting that they could do as DC. That's what makes it frustrating. Like, you've covered Batman and you got Suicide Squad. Okay. Wonder Woman, like, that's exciting because Wonder Woman, it's like no one expected that. That was one of the few in last year's Game Awards show, which was a catastrophe. That was one of the few that was like, what? That's real, man. Like, oh, I can't wait.
Hashtag just one female demographic superhero. Like, bro, this is printing money. Like, what are we doing? Can we get something popular?
Cog, I think you got to switch jobs, right? You got to say goodbye to Oculus, move into the Xbox territory, and just start pushing our agenda here.
Sadly, if I did that, wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, true. Never mind.
Oh, IOP.
Never mind.
Yeah. Oculus, what's up? Yeah, I ain't trying to mess up my conflicts of interest with no one. I like doing the shows. I like doing this.
Hell yeah.
But trust me, there's a part of me that, of course, the dreams to work at these companies.
You always wonder what if, right? Like, I did the same thing with Bethesda Game Studios. I'm like, what if someone like Todd actually approached me and was like, why don't you write for our game? I'd be like, oh, fuck. Like,
I mean, it's a conversation.
Yeah, you got to think about it, right? Yeah.
All right, guys. Had that talk. Like, nah,
I hate to find a new audience. We got to chat. I'm
out. I don't want to have that talk. I'm good where I'm at. Shout out to Oculus. DVO's out in stores, right? DVO, man. It's nice.
Number 9. Last bit of news here. Just quick, coming soon to Xbox Game Pass. On April 26th, we got 7 Days to Die coming to cloud, console, and PC. Research and Destroy coming to console and PC as well on April 26th. And then April 28th, we see Bugsnax Day 1 for Xbox, cloud, console, and PC, and Unsold console and PC. Very short lineup there, but we already know May is the one that's really stacked. So
yes, sir, May's with that.
Now, into our Game Pass Back Compat pick of the week. Cog, I made a selection this week. Now, as I mentioned, I'm not playing many video games this week. So this was one of the rare weeks for Back Compat Game Pass pick of the week where I was just like, what's something I want to talk about? What's something that I can take the opportunity now to remind people this exists? Since it re-released recently on PlayStation, I wanted to tell everyone again about Death's Door. Death's Door is an indie classic that I know you and I really liked, Cog. Came out in May of last year, so we're nearing about a 1-year anniversary for this game. And oftentimes it's funny because Tunic, which I haven't played, Tunic is compared to Zelda very often. And I feel like this game also has those Zelda vibes. Like, Xbox really likes these Zelda style games. They really
with their little Zelda clone. Yeah, I think it's good call.
They really do. Because I'm realizing that now as I was speaking, I'm like, they really like that. If you want more of that, you're playing Tunic. You want more of that Zelda-like clone, Death's Door. It's got this Sin City graphical style. It's got a kind of interesting theme for its story, hence the name. It's going to be about death and what that does to a creature. And I really found it pretty amazing on that front. It was one of my top 10 games of the year last year. I really enjoyed Death's Door.
Looking at it on Game Pass. Sorry.
No, you're good. And the combat is, it's one of those games where you're not going to be blown away by its depth. It's really the simplicity of things and how they don't overdo anything. Everything works as it should. It's very responsive combat. It's not going to be like Nier Automata where you're doing a dance around your opponent. It's going to be an attack button, a roll button, a weapon switch button. But because it's simple, the game's able to just challenge you with these tough boss fights that you got to be not Dark Souls level, but like you have to be pretty mechanically sound with them. It's a good challenge. It's not a long game, right? For the team time people out there, it's a nice 8 to 10 hour experience. There is more to do. There's more to collect if you'd like to. The final boss for this game, by the way, rocks. The music rocks. Really good game that I just wanted to take the time here in a little bit of a lull where we'll be back to gaming more by next week. Just remind people Death's Door does exist. It's on Game Pass because it didn't launch on Game Pass. That's the thing. It was exclusive to Xbox. It sold quite well. And then they went to Game Pass afterwards, which is pretty funny.
That's why I was checking while you talking. Sorry, I interrupted you because
Okay.
I was like, wait a minute. That wasn't a Game Pass game.
No.
I forgot. Oh, yeah, it's in Game Pass. So they really bet on themselves well because they did well on the front end as an indie title marketed by Xbox.
Yes.
Right. And then that was the sequence PlayStation port then, and then Game Pass afterwards.
Good question. Death's Door Game Pass. Let's find out. I'm going to look at the PlayStation release date.
Yeah, I'm curious because if that's the case, like, not to, be messy, but it's like they really bet well on themselves. And they really, like, they got their situation right. You know what I'm saying? Like, salute to them. Get a Game Pass back after this because I forget. You're right.
So PlayStation announcement came first. It came first in October 27th that they were going to release on PlayStation November 23rd. And then January, the same month as Danganronpa, they came to Xbox Game Pass.
Well, look, launched first. They bet on themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did well because let's be honest, that's very hard to get seen, heard, noticed. In a little indie game, it got the shine from Microsoft. The marketing did well. Then they come out, get Sony money, right, for launching on a platform with another base, right? Then you get a Game Pass bag after the fact.
Yeah.
Wow.
July release date, by the way. I think I said May. July 20th is when it came out. So it was 5 months afterwards that I went to PlayStation. And yeah, man, this is one of the best games Xbox dropped last year. Right? They have, say what you will, and we certainly have been critical of them, but they have a really good eye for indies at ID at Xbox team. Yeah. They have been on one lately. It's been awesome to see. So
Troll and the team. Salute.
Yeah, they really have had a great eye for the talent, for helping nurture these projects and getting them over the finish line, making them better where they can. And we're seeing that constantly. It's not just a one-off here, but this was really the start of, I think, the indie awareness for Xbox was Death's Door. And it was a nice revolving door for some time now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember last point, I remember we were questioning, damn, it was exclusive, but damn, it was only exclusive. Then it went to. So it's so interesting how that played out. They didn't pay for long-term marketing exclusivity. It was a very short-timed exclusive. So they got 2 bags from Mike's. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
They got a timed exclusive bag and a Game Pass bag.
It's made by 2 people, so someone in there knows how to market.
They better get on Switch too. Hey, get the.
I think they're on Switch already. Yeah,
they're on Switch.
I think that store is already. That's a perfect Switch game, by the way.
Yeah, that's a perfect Switch game. Find out if they on Switch.
They are on Switch. Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Cool. And just real quick, I gotta ask again. When did they launch on Switch? If you don't know.
Yeah, let me.
Yeah, I'm just curious. When was the Switch launch?
Switch release.
It's a very intriguing title to me.
No, absolutely. I think it released as well November 23rd.
So that was around.
That was the same day as PlayStation.
Oh, so they did the joint.
That was my fault. The announcement I was reading was on the PlayStation blog, so they're not going to mention Nintendo.
Got it. Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, cool. Just wanted to know.
Yeah. So Death's Door, Game Pass pick of the week. Check it out. Really fun, Zelda-inspired title. Really cool. Great music. Great exploration. You'll like it. Oh, yeah. Try it out.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get into our 5 final questions of this week's episode. First one goes to Poot. Hey, Dukes. Even though it's cool that Trek to Yomi is coming day 1 to Game Pass, and I already have it preloaded, I can't help but notice the physical PS5 option and wish that Xbox was more involved in the physical game space. A partnership with Limited Run Games was announced nearly a year ago, and Limited Run Games tweeted in January that their first Xbox game was coming this summer, so it appears it will still be a bit before it bears fruit. Why hasn't a physical release of Tunic with a statue of that cute as hell fox been announced? I bought that Elden Ring Collector's Edition and will likely buy whatever Super Deluxe Special Collector's Limited Edition Bethesda has planned for Starfield. So while I understand the obvious trend towards digital, I'm still someone who loves the occasional unique sensation when you slide that disc on in. Keep up the great work and hope you both have a used to be an adventurer, then I took an arrow to the knee type of day.
Hey, that's Skyrim talk. Let's go. I think Poot is just, look, I was surprised with the limited run partnership, to be honest, with Xbox, because I just felt they weren't leaning in that direction.
Yeah.
And I know Matty does not like that.
I do not.
You know what I mean? I know. I just feel like if we really honest, it doesn't suit their model. Like, limited run is phenomenal. Like, they are amazing. This is fan service at its best, physical disc at its best. The extras I think it was the Streets of Rage one. Man, it was phenomenal. All of the fan service, the Genesis level box, and all this other
you
stuff.
got that one. Nice.
Yeah, like I spent the money. I'm going in. It's something I love. Yeah, I'm gonna go in.
Bro,
So
I bought that KOTOR Master Edition. They knew who they were talking to. The Vibro Blade letter opener. God, man. Good luck, Aspire, when you make the actual collector's edition for the real remake. I don't know how you're gonna top that one.
Yeah,
it's coming with cards with Pizak in it, bro. I can't wait. Sorry, go on.
It's over. No, you're absolutely right. I know what you mean.
They do a great job.
I just think that I agree. I just think that Xbox, it doesn't fit. Think about it. The Series S is one of the main drivers for them. No disc. And if the majority of, I don't know what the splits are, but let's just say that you would have to think, even if the X is more X's out there right now, you would have to think Microsoft wants more S's in gamers' hands, and then you have the number one digital subscription service. It's an extra step for them, so I don't see the commitment. I was impressed that it was announced, man. To be honest, I was like, they're not doing it, because it was just too many examples of PlayStation Switch. So that's where I'm at with it. Good to see. I'm dying to know which one they will do for Xbox. I'm very curious.
But gently push back, because at first when you said it doesn't match their model, I agreed. But I realized, I was like, I think that's why limited run is perfect, because obviously Microsoft is going to get a cut of this, even if it's small, not much. They're going to get a cut of the limited run sales. And to me, I feel like as you're nurturing indies, you're growing these games digitally, people are going to become attached to them and want the physical thing for it. And limited run's kind of that avenue for it. I feel like if anything, limited run should, number one, be stoked that Xbox is on board, because that's going to be huge for their growth. But Xbox is, like, as we've said, they're nurturing indies, and that's like 95% of what limited run does, outside of like the occasional Aspire port, right? They're like, here's another indie gem that you love, and we're doing the physical thing for it. And they're teaming up with big companies, right? They did one for the Contra collection. I think they did one for Castlevania. Like, they're out there with these big brands and everything. So, like, they're a known, trusted team that handles physical copies well. And I feel like as Xbox is churning out indie gem after indie gem, right? Tunic being one of them that Poot wrote in about, like, that's a perfect one, a physical copy for Tunic. And then you could take that fox and make a statue out of it. I feel like they're too good at discovering talent to not try to nurture a particular part of the market that matters. It's much like I think of the people who care about trophies on PlayStation. We can talk to our faces blue on how for the general populace that does not matter. But there are people, hey, guess who pre-ordered? Talk about it a little bit. TMNT Cowabunga Collection on PlayStation. Me, bitch. Why? Because I want my trophies. That is, for me, that's a game I have an attachment to. I got the arcade cabinet out around the corner there. I want the Platinum Trophy. That's a thing for me, right? That's a decision. I feel like PlayStation is smart to be in the limited run market, because you can draw a connection to these games. I hate to say it like it's predatory, but feed off the connection gamers build to their games. So I feel like, not to go off, I'm not going off on you, but in general, like,
oh, you grow fine.
I just want Xbox to continue to do this. No more of this Halo Infinite half game on the disc bullshit. We can't have that anymore. I'm not saying go all in on limited run, but support this small part of the market. It means a lot. It's the same thing with visual novels. Oh, who plays visual novels? There are a lot of people who do. And when PlayStation started to censor them, guess where they went? Out of all places, Nintendo. So I feel like you can't get it all perfect. You can't get it all right. But with these little choices that require a company having your sound off on things, I feel like you got to be in on those personally. So my prediction was originally Death's Door when this was announced. Now, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. Tunic sounds like a good one. Maybe.
Tunic is a possibility. Yeah, maybe. I think they got to. Then the other thing is these deals, man. Sometimes we find out, it's 3 months. It's like, what's truly exclusive for them? I gotta see, man. That's my only pushback. I gotta see. I love that the announcement means they have plans. I want to know how they leverage it. What are they gonna do? Is it gonna be the indie exclusives? And
Psychonauts 2. That's the one I wanted, right? Not sorry.
Now that
not that source. Psychonauts.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That to me, it's gotta be first party. It's gotta be, and honestly, I just think they haven't established enough of those just ones yet until this generation start kicking. Because if you have a Jin Sakai alloy, then maybe you can make a statue and maybe you can make some memorabilia. But when you have the hamburger, shaking the fries, the Big Mac, like I don't think people gonna run out for the Forza car. You know what I'm saying? Like as great as it is, right?
No,
so
right.
I think
I agree.
Let's talk Hellblade. Let's talk Starfield. Let's talk. You know what I mean? Let's talk about. Let's talk. That's the next wave. Those are the come up. Then you're like, okay, I'll connect with this.
I see where you're
and I think that next generation of new heroes that represent Xbox Studios is when it pops. Really, that's what they need.
You know what I need?
What you need?
Another TMNT Cowabunga Collection Collector's Edition. Hustle and Motivate writes in, hey, Dukes, hope all is well. Question for Matty, did you see the TMNT Cowabunga Collection Collector's Edition available at Target? Do you think it's worth the $150 price tag? Rest in peace to K-Slay, the Drama King.
Salute. Legend in the game. Salute. Hustle and Motivate, man. Yeah, this question for you. So what you think, man?
Bro. Easy money spent here. The type of money you just don't think about. It never existed to you in the first place. It's gone. It's gone, right? So it's funny. In my mind, I kind of spent like $85 on it, if my math's correct, because or 80, sorry, because I got from my doctor's office out of nowhere a couple checks in the mail. I guess somehow I overpaid for my appointments from last year, and they're like, "Here, we owe you $70." So I'm like, "Oh, there we go. Cash that in." That's money I never had in my mind. So Cowabunga Collection, here we come. Yeah, absolutely. Nice. I dove right on this thing, man. I was surprised this didn't go through limited run, though. Speaking of them earlier, I'm surprised to see Konami's publishing this. They're doing a physical copy, a collector's edition. They must know people like me are just out there and they're dying, man.
They recognize what they're
smart.
They know. Yeah, they're smart.
Are you obviously? I don't think you're going to pick up the collector's edition, Cog. But are you
getting it? I don't know if I'm getting the collector's.
Okay, you're interested in the game. Okay.
Oh shit, bro! There's certain conventions coming up too where.
Oh, I'm signed up. I'm signed up.
I got the Lords all four. Let's go.
It's gonna be so
every turtle. Let's go.
There's another game that's there. I got to remember after this to talk to you about that. I'll message it here in chat. Yeah, because your reaction will be funny. Hold on. Tell me if you know.
Oh yeah. We think the same about the coverage things we're gonna do.
I'm sure I'll pass you at a booth or two.
Yes, we'll see each other.
So thank you for writing in, Hustle and Motivate. Appreciate you. Definitely gonna pick up that TMNT Collector's Edition. It's also available, by the way. I know I got it on PlayStation. You can get it on Xbox. Just know it's also there. Is that out on Switch? I don't know if that's on Switch.
No. That's a good question. Man.
Hold on one sec.
Feels like it should.
That feels like the perfect Switch game.
Yeah, it feels like it should be.
Switch.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, it got to be.
Good.
The Temo, it's got to be.
Oh, yeah.
They just released the original Switch. Yeah, it's got to be.
All right. ONS writes in, this one's fun, Cog. You're going to love this one. Hello, Dukes. Last week's sports analogies got me thinking, what if gaming companies could trade studios and IP? We've done this in the past. This one's pretty good, though. The following are 3 trades between Xbox and PlayStation, and I ask for each question, who says no? Number 1, Xbox receives Sucker Punch, Sony Bend, and Infamous, and PlayStation gets Halo and 343. Let's leave it at that one for now. We got 2 more.
All right. Who says no?
PlayStation goes, hell no.
PlayStation say, yeah, well, I don't.
Oh, come on.
That's not as. All right. I know what you're saying.
The devs of Ghost of Tsushima, Sony Band, developers of the
Days Gone.
Yeah, Days Gone. Look, I'm not gonna tell everyone Days Gone's this hidden gem that they believe it is. It's not.
Now, Ghost of which you infamous. Now, see, it's just the way he worded, because it's like Halo and 343. Like 343, it's the way that look.
Yeah.
It don't look right. And that's the part that I know that's influencing you. Yeah. But it's just like, that is Halo, though.
Yeah, I value Halo very high, but you clearly value it way higher than me. For me, I'm like Sucker Punch, Sony Band, Infamous. I feel like you get a lot there. Like, I'm trading you a veteran star player for a lot of young talent that's going to define my team for generations to come.
But Infamous, as much as he had 2 out, right? Did he have like
3 actually?
entries?
Yeah.
Right? Or were they critically acclaimed? Like,
yeah, people love them, yeah, but it definitely didn't pop off like Ghost of Tsushima.
Sony, like, these are some. I don't want to be disrespectful. No. Like, I feel like these are some mid tiers with the hot rookie. Sucker Punch is the hot. I mean, prior what they did prior bugging. What they did prior to what you call it was Infamous, right? What was prior to Ghost of Tsushima?
That was Infamous.
All right, it's the way Second he's Son. Wording it. It feels like it's another
First Light. Yeah,
because Sucker Punch and Infamous should be connected, right? In a way, because that's from them. It's just the way he worded it. Like Halo 343 is the way he worded it. But I'm gonna go against the grain.
I don't know if it's against the grain. A lot of people agree with your takes on Halo, so
I'm gonna say Xbox says no.
Okay.
And I love Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah. I'm making that deal strictly for Sucker Punch.
I know. Yeah. Sucker Punch is fire. Yeah. I love Sucker Punch. Good. I love them. I want feedback from the fans on this.
Yeah.
LSM fan.
I can see your perspective. But number 2 is even more interesting. Xbox receives Sly Cooper and Jak and Daxter. PlayStation receives Wolfenstein, Singularity, and Machine Games.
I'm biased, and you're biased. We're opposed because I'm biased for both sides. We're biased.
You know what? I'm going to surprise you. Xbox got to say no to this one.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I thought you would never go against your 2. Those are your babies.
I love Sly and I love Jak and Daxter, but they do not hold a candle in the mainstream audience. The growth of Xbox, like Wolfenstein and the up-and-comer Singularity that never got its due, now with Game Pass and discoverability, can get that. I just feel like you're giving up too much there. And Wolfenstein, man, we don't talk enough about how fucking good Wolfenstein is with 1 and 2. Oh, I know Old Blood, Young Blood, I know. But Wolfenstein 1 and 2, the mainline games for Machine Games,
fire.
Excellent.
Amazing.
Love those games.
Love those games.
But this is a good trade offer. I could see Xbox going back to the GM, talking about this, thinking about it, weighing out the analytics, the fancy stats, and going like, well, how much do we really get here?
What do we do? We need platform.
Number 3. Oh, this is a tough one.
This is something right here.
Xbox receives Guerrilla Games, Insomniac, and Horizon. PlayStation receives Bethesda Game Studios, Starfield, and Elder Scrolls. So Fallout stays with Xbox. Fallout stays.
Oh yeah, Fallout stays. Yeah.
Oh man,
this is the close. This is the. You can make the arguments. You know what I mean? Like, look, Xbox receives Insomniac, Spider-Man, Wolverine.
Yeah, the interesting choice here though. He picks Guerrilla and their IP Horizon. He says Insomniac comes with no Spider-Man, no Wolverine.
I mean, if that's the case, then that changes things. But I was assuming that they did. But PlayStation gets Bethesda Game Studios, bro. Like the entire kit and caboodle and Starfield and. I mean, people go say, "Oh, but no one knows what Starfield is," but the Elder Scrolls, arguably the greatest RPG, the highest selling games of all time.
Yeah.
Look, you can make the argument, Xbox, right now, versus you can make the right now who's hotter, and say PlayStation says no because Guerrilla Games is on. They're hot. Insomniac is on fire. Insomniac is them dudes. We can't say Insomniac is them dudes. People make the argument that they may be battling for the number 1 with Naughty Dog just on the consistency of what they're going on. I'm too biased here, so I'm gonna Xbox. You gotta say,
Mm,
gotta say no. But it's hard. That's a hard one. That's a pick 'em. It's what you're looking for.
yeah.
It's what you're looking for. That you could make either one, and no one's out of pocket for saying either, in my opinion. But what do you say?
Insomniac is what makes this tough. They're a studio I
Yes.
really love.
I really love Insomniac.
They're great. Guerrilla Games, I don't dislike. I just don't think super high of them in the
Good
sense
point.
like I'm
I'm in that boat. Mhm.
like I looked at Forbidden West. I do want to play it, but as time went on and I looked at it more and more, I was like, it looks like more of the open world fare from PlayStation that we've come to experience. So
Yeah, beautiful game.
it does look great and it does look fun, but I'll have to try it eventually. So for me, I'm not like hot on them. So maybe that's a case of what I'm feeling right now. But Insomniac's the one I'm big on. You're talking about my Bethesda Game Studios, Starfield and Elder Scrolls. You're giving up the future. You're giving up the now with this. This is a bad trade for Xbox. You
Bad trade
can't
for
do
Xbox.
this.
Yeah.
You just can't.
You're right.
There's just too much to gain with Starfield. It's too much to then gain in knowing that after Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6 is next. Even if Starfield's a flop, you just know you got Elder Scrolls 6. You can't screw that up, right? The pressure's on, the magnum opus moment, right? It's all right there. I feel like with PlayStation, or I'm sorry, if Xbox were to get Insomniac, like that's the one, right? Get that Sunset Overdrive back in motion.
Ooh, that's true. They bring it back. Yeah.
You got these guys who are connected to Marvel. Finally address the pop culture. Like that's the most tantalizing part. But since the trade deal clearly states Guerrilla, Horizon, and Insomniac, we just get the team of Insomniac. I'm gonna go ahead and say no. Sorry, we're keeping Bethesda Game Studios.
Fair enough.
All right, Alex Kilgore is our next write-in. Hey Dukes. So this question is primarily for Cog, but I'd be happy to hear Matty's thoughts as well. So with games like Halo, Destiny, Warzone, Fortnite, etc., they have become highly streamable games with large communities. Along with that, there are streamers who play the game and give plenty of feedback. But sometimes these streamers bitch and bitch a lot. Are these streamers hurting the game? For example, Destiny 2 has a wide variety of streamers who passionately play the game. The ones I primarily watch are PvP mains, since I myself am a PvP main. But it feels like when a popular streamer has a problem with something broken in the game, renewal grasp, Lorely, Splendor, what are these things? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Destiny talk. Let's go.
They go to Twitter and cry about it, and their cult-like followers echo their sentiments. Same thing happened with Halo. Big-time streamers like Tim the Tatman and Dr. Disrespect cried about Halo not having a Battle Royale mode. Now look where we are with the rumors of one coming. I'm not angry at streamers or wish ill upon them because I enjoy quite a few of them, but I get so tired and irritated when the streamers band together to change something that a fraction of the community may agree with. Should a developer listen to the vocal minority whose salary is reliant on the game they are playing? Or am I looking too deep into it and just getting sucked into the cesspool that is Twitter? I know streamers can do a lot to help a game by streaming it and getting it out to their audience, but to me, it looks like the game developers and community managers only respond to feedback from streamers. I love this show and the dynamic you two have. Remember to drink water and have a push in that powder kind of day.
Alex Kilgore, man. He's fun. He's fun. He definitely listens to the last word. This is one of our hottest topics.
Let's hear.
I think he's on fire, man. This is a big debate with live service. And for Destiny, it's what he says. I feel like not even just Destiny, game companies got a slippery slope because you want the biggest guys playing. You want your Mr. Matty playing. You want your skill. You want these guys talking about your game, loving your game, enjoying your game. And then especially people who stream and bring these big communities to play this game and make it the game. We've seen things like, shout out to Ben with Sea of Thieves, right? Like we've seen if popular streamers get behind something, they can take something that no one knows and then make it something. You know what I'm saying? Fall Guys, Among Us, you know what I'm saying? Sea of Thieves. And then you're like, wow, this is a thing now because streamer A and B are loving it and now everyone's loving it, right? So you want to cater to them, right? But where Alex is and where I'm at is that I got to give Bungie a lot of credit because one thing, they're in a tough spot. A lot of the hardcore will say, this is broken, Bungie, and this sucks, and this is the problem with this game. They're catering to the casual or whatever, and I love it because I want to live in this game 24/7 and yada yada yada, so I can make 1,000 more videos and da-da-da. We get it. I get it. That's your income. You want the game to cater to these sensibilities, but when you have the analytics, and the analytics may say, look, only 10% of the people of a population is doing this content you like, and we're putting all this effort and raids and all this stuff, and nobody's playing it. But guess what they like? The stuff that you hate, right? Or the stuff that this is what the majority is catering towards. It is a difficult sort. And Bungie, sometimes they'll go against it. They'll be like, nope, this is what we're doing. And people will cry, complain. And I was guilty of it one time. I was like, they're catering to the one, to the casual, whatever. I want to live in this. And then you realize, like, yo, bro, there's other games to play besides Destiny. And I took a break. I actually was more at peace with myself, and I could come back to it. So, yeah, this is an internal fight. It is not easy, because if the streamers are all unified and leave together, then you in another problem. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's a tough one, man. It's a balance. Sometimes the community is not always right, though.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to put your foot down and say, this is for the better good of the game. So it's a balance.
Yeah.
It's a balance.
It's tough. I don't think I could add anything to it, because I typically stay out of this, but I definitely think that I can understand the idea of these streamers really just pushing certain games in certain directions that they don't really need to go in for their own desires as a career.
Yes, sir.
Last question of the show. Josh Correa writes in, hey, Dukes, after a good workout session at the gym, do you guys use the shower in the gym, or do you wait until you get home to shower? I personally prefer to use my own shower, not because I don't want to put others to shame with my Greek god-like body. I just feel more comfortable to use my shower since you don't know how many people use that same shower before you and how often that shower stall gets clean. Thanks, and have a shit, I got nail fungus from the gym showers kind of day. Oh, nasty.
Oh, yeah. Cog is not the gym shower guy. I'm a private person. That's just how I am. You know what I mean? So, shout out to the people comfortable in the buff doing what they do. Salute. Yeah. You were comfortable. You're comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Me, I'm just a selfish. I'm gonna tell you how ridiculous I am. Like, I'm a person that even if, there's traffic and people tell me, yo, do not drive, bro. Like, take public transportation, bro. Like, use because it's going to take you forever to get to the Mets game, bro. You're going to be late. Cog wants his own and be in the cover. I'd rather be in traffic stuck in my own vehicle. And that's just where I'm at. It's like, I want to be in my shower, my environment. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I'm comfortable, but I know Matty's the big time streaker of the show. So Matty ain't got no problem just running around in the buff,
Yeah, sure.
Master Cheeks in it out here. What you doing out here, man?
No, bro, I would never. This is a non-option for me. This has never crossed my table in my mind. I'll never shower in a gym shower.
Wow, I'm surprised. I thought you was gonna say that.
No. I
want to hear this. Let's break down the reasoning,
dude. I guess here's the thing, right? I know when my own showers are cleaned, right? Because technically I live in a house of 4 people. So there's 4 different people in the same shower using it every day. And I'm about to say, well, it's kind of gross in the gym. There are a bunch of people showering in that shower. So part of it's like, it's a known quantity, right? I know it's my mom, my dad, my brother, me, right? And I know we're generally clean people.
Yes.
In the gym, bro, some of these gym bros are just nasty. Bro. They get into a whole other universe, man. It is insane.
Ooh, bro.
It can be pretty nasty in there.
Yo.
And I also never need to shower in these gyms because I'm weird, man. I don't sweat when I work out, man. I'll push myself to the limit. If I'm doing cardio, I sweat. If I'm lifting weights, I'll turn red in the face. But I will never sweat, bro. It's like my head would rather pop than sweat. It's weird. I would rather sweat, honestly, but my body doesn't let me. So I guess I don't really complain. But so for me, I never really needed the gym shower anyway. But I've seen people who are like, getting their early morning pump on. They're like, I got a job interview after this, and they shower at the gym before the interview, before their interview. And
and then you see them come out fly, suit and tie, and all that. Like I seen it. Like it's just it ain't me.
No.
And then it's crazy because technically, I guess I should be the guy that's doing it because I am the profuse sweater. Like
really?
Like the littlest, I'm bad. Like I the littlest workout, and I do push myself sometimes, but I do sweat a lot. So. You know, when I'm at the gym, so technically there's times I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, but I just can't. And then it's like, and then I'll tell you, I'm real talk, I'm gonna tell you what the real reason was, besides the nakedness and we're joking and all that. But I don't like that I don't have my products. That's my thing. You know, sometimes you want that, you know, that shea butter, or you want that specific, you know, Head and Shoulders that you use. You want that. And they ain't got that premium joint. They got the default, you know.
Soap, Dove, shampoo.
Nah, we not doing that, man. I need to be the oil of Olay out. You know what I'm saying? I need that, you know, you know, you need that real extra premium experience. You need that extra froth on your soap bubble. You know what I'm saying? That's what I need. I gotta treat myself.
No, absolutely.
So
showers like the thing is, showers are a sanctuary to me, right? Like you got that one area where like my work is gone, everyone in my life is gone. It's just a nice, relaxing rain shower. I just get to comb through my thoughts.
Yes, there we go.
There's no interruption. It's just the water running. And when I hear some dudes talking in the locker room,
bro, or the dude who want you come out and he want to have a conversation, you know them dudes. They'll be them dudes. You be
standing
like,
there butt ass naked, just trying to talk.
Bro, with the joint out, like, bro, like you really feel this is the time to really.
I always remember we used to clown on my friend Connor for this all the time because we were at this gym and he I forgot what he had to go into the locker room for, but we were in there with him, right? And I think we were playing basketball. And he had to get something from someone's bag. And this guy stops him for a conversation. Old dude. So like, let's just say,
it'd be the old dude.
Yeah, everything. I mean, everything is droopy.
Swinging.
Yeah, swinging, droopy. And my man Connor did not break eye contact with this guy.
Because you can't. You got to keep it up here, bro.
He was not looking down saying like, what's going on down here? He was just like all the time, just eyes wide open. He was like, dude, like just locked in. He said,
you better keep it in.
Yeah.
It's over for you if you lose.
Yeah, bro. It was. So we always joked about it because I said, yo, Connor, I've never seen you more locked in your life than right there. Yeah, bro. Nothing was stopping you from looking that man in the eye. What he said mattered to you right then and there, even if you didn't want it to, because you knew if you broke for a moment, there's something saggy waiting for you down below.
You're getting bored of the conversation. Thanks. Hilarious. Gotta love it. Jim stories.
Anyway, thank you for writing in, everybody. We appreciate you all immensely for supporting our little show here. God, what is the hashtag for this week? I almost feel like we got to connect it to that gym right there. Like,
Jim that was a classic. We ended it classic. Yeah. I was gonna say prior, I was feeling like Jet Set-y, but the gym was that. Oh yeah, Jet Set was. I was in that zone for you, bro. Like I was so happy to show you that news. So I'm either going there or the gym, or either one. Either one, I'm fine.
Connect the two somehow. Jet Set Gym.
I don't know, Gym Set.
Gym Set.
That's
kind of Gym Set Radio, like a gym set radio. Doing a set.
Gym Set. Yeah, we can do Gym Set. Yeah, Gym Set Radio. Because, Gym, I like that. The name is set. It's a little double entendre kind of situation.
We're going to do that.
Gym Set Radio.
Gym Set Radio DD. Use that as the hashtag.
I like that.
Don't spell it like Jim Ryan. G-Y-M, Jim.
Yeah. Yes.
Gym Set Radio.
Gym Set Radio. There we go. Yeah.
I'm at G27 Status, at Lord Cognito. Tweet at us. Let us know what you thought. If you don't want to do that, comment section is fine. Patreon comment section, also fine. Happy to hear from you either way. We just want to know your thoughts on the show. Use the hashtag GymSetRadio. DD, I almost forgot the whole hashtag there. Yeah. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, take great care of yourselves, and we'll catch you with episode 69, the ill-fated 69, in next week's DD. Peace out.
Peace.
Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Colin's Last Stand LLC, and is recorded from the United States of America. The show is conceived by Matthew Mr. Matty Plays Schroeder and me, Colin Moriarty, and is written and produced by Matthew Schroeder. Matty's co-host is Barry Lord Cognito Eversley. Defining Duke's executive producer is Dustin Furman, and the show is edited by associate producer Ben Smith. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's shows, including Defining Duke, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer support level on Patreon, and we're thankful for your kindness and generosity.